G'day, and welcome back to the next episode of the Life Lid podcast. My guest today comes to us all the way from Afghanistan. Growing up over there during the conflict that Australia was involved with for over 20 years, he's migrated to Australia. He's now an entrepreneur, having been a correctional officer for a few years. He's a father of two, a loving husband, and does a lot of good community works for the Afghan nationals here in Australia. Please welcome my friend, Nazir Barakzai. Naz, welcome, mate. Welcome. How are you?
Good, mate.
Yeah?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's been a while since we've had a chat.
Yeah. Long time.
Looking very fresh there.
As usual.
Yeah, as usual. You do have one of the best sculpted beards I reckon I've seen in a while.
Yeah, a long time since I heard that. I was known for this.
Yeah, the sculpted beard. Yeah, very good, dude. Very good.
Well manicured.
Yeah. I noticed you've got the mustache though.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Muslim dudes have got no mustache. How
yeah.
come? What's the difference there? Is there a significance in it, or is it
This
just
is more of a stylish beard than a Muslim beard.
than a Muslim beard?
Yeah. Look, you got to have it all the way and manicured. Obviously, you clean it up, but
Yeah.
the mustache is part of it. Part of that, yes.
Okay.
You need to sort of trim it a bit less than your beard. But this one is obviously not a religious type of beard.
Not a religious beard. Yeah. What's the significance of the no mustache? Is it?
I think it's got to do when you eat food. It shouldn't go on your mustache, and you got to have it nice and clean.
Yeah. Just pull the mic a little bit closer.
Yeah,
There you go.
I realised I couldn't
you
hear
go.
myself.
There you go. See the benefit of the headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to have a clean sort of mouth area.
Yeah.
To be able to eat. So when you're talking to someone, you don't ruin their appetite and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's not so much like a religious thing, so much as like a cleanliness thing.
No.
Interesting.
No. They're sort of tied together.
Yeah.
The culture and the religion and all that. But other than that, it's
Yeah.
more,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know much about Islam at all.
No, we can talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fill me in. What's?
I'm the type of person. I don't know if we probably haven't had an opportunity to talk about it, but
No.
more about being open. Let people ask that question rather than having that confusion in their minds. If I can answer it, I'll answer it. If I can't, I'll ask someone and I'll reply that question. I reckon that's more of a transparent type of life. That,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is good to live that way than throwing cards.
Yeah. Tracking people down, bashing on doors. Yeah.
Oh yes, and we've seen that.
Yeah. We've seen it.
happens.
We've seen it. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Anyways, very long time. I'm glad when I got your text and I was wrapped because with corrections, I've sort of cut ties.
Yeah.
And then the people that I knew, amongst them, there were some really good people that I would like to catch up with, yourself, and there's a few other people. But life gets too busy, and you don't get that opportunity. So what you're doing, everything, it's amazing, and I'm a fan already.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, good stuff.
No, I
Good to see
appreciate you taking the time, dude, to come in and sit down and have a chin wag. It's good.
Anytime.
It's good to catch
Anytime.
up. So, obviously, people are going to see you're darker of skins, not from Australia. You're born in Afghanistan. Dude, what was life like in Afghanistan growing up?
Ooh.
Actually,
And
even before that, so whereabouts in Afghanistan were you born?
I was born in the capital. To answer that earlier question was in Kabul, Afghanistan, the capital. And a fortunate life, yet very bumpy.
Yeah.
A bumpy ride. Yes, that's me in a nutshell. But I can elaborate on it a bit more as we go into the talks. I was born in Kabul. My parents, my dad was from down south. So was my mum. Different states.
Yeah.
But I was born in Kabul. I was probably 7 or 8 years old when we moved out of Afghanistan due to the civil wars and stuff like that. We moved to the neighboring countries. stayed there for a few years, and then came back with when the new government, the Americans and the rest of the world drop into the country. That's when we moved back into the country as well. So that's just my childhood in a little nutshell for you. I was probably 12 years old when sort of knew my left and right hands, and I sort of understood that I'm not in my own country and I'm somewhere else. Okay. And I started raising those questions with the parents. Hey, why are we here? What's the reasons? And then they sort of explained that there was a civil war. It's still happening. We can't go back to the country, and and whatnot. But yeah, dude, that's me, born and out of the country, just like that.
Yeah. Where did you end up going?
We went to Pakistan. So my dad was politically active at the time. It was pretty up high with the government prior to the Mujahideen. If you would know the history of
little bits of it,
prior to them, there was an actual government in that country, and he was pretty active with the politics and stuff like that. And he had to move out of the country to survive. People like them, like my dad, was executed on a daily basis. So he moved out. He took us all with him. We started a life over there, obviously from scratch. We did not know the language, the culture, and everything. Although people might say that, hey, Pakistan, Afghanistan, it's the same thing. Fucking, it's not the same fucking thing.
And those people are racists.
It's not the same fucking thing. Yeah. It's not. It is totally different. Their culture is very different to us. You'll actually find out that a lot of people in Afghanistan don't really like the Pakis at all.
Yeah, right.
They don't like it.
Why not?
Well, a lot of people in Afghanistan, they believe that wherever Afghanistan is today, it's because of them. They sort of brought all of that onto the Afghans. I'm not in that belief, but people in that in Afghanistan believe that they've sort of created a hate type of thing for them. I personally believe that if you live in your house with your wife and you're living a happy life, your neighbor will never interfere. The day you start arguing with your wife, your neighbor will listen to your noises and knock on your door and say, hey, what's happening? Everything okay? The second time, they'll call the cops on you, wouldn't they? Because, hey, there's something happening in this house. I think, a visit would be good. That's exactly what I feel like happened to Afghanistan, in my opinion. They didn't get along with each other. They sort of raised their voices way too much. Eventually, the International Security Assistance Forces, which I believe you were there as well, which sort of created an opportunity for many other people like my dad. He sees the opportunity when the new government sort of started. He moved back to Afghanistan. He went back to his position. He started his career again. And with him, he moved us to the country as well. And because we were raised in Pakistan, we could speak English because schools over there teach you English. And that's where my sort of life began. I was 17 when I went back. I was literally just playing on, as a teenager, and you go to school, after school you see, these military, vehicles left, right and center. You would have seen them. In the capital, it was different. They would come to a police district, they'd park their vehicles outside, and there'd be a couple of guys with the guns. It was fascinating for me as a teenager. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. In a uniform and, having so much fun. So I'd just go and say, hi, how you going? Once, twice, three times. And then where I was living, we had the Canadian Army. The Canadian Army was just patrolling District 11. I still remember that. And this one particular day, I got to say hi to a Canadian Army captain. He was like, oh, you speak English? I said, yes, I speak English. I couldn't speak like this, but I could broken English.
Yeah.
Broken English. And he's like, oh, okay. That went away. My older brother, who could speak better English than me, he became an interpreter for the Canadian Army. He worked with them for 6 months, and then one day I come home. He's like, "Hey, do you want to work with the Canadians?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, why not? It's
Yeah.
not good money." Okay, so I went there. They called me for an interview. I got a job as an interpreter, interpreting English to the local languages and stuff like that.
Is it Dari or Farsi and
It's Dari.
Dari?
Farsi is the Persian.
Farsi is
Yes,
Persian, and
but
then what's the other one?
Pashto.
Pashtun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
So
actually Pashtun myself.
yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
Uruzgan was they're all Pashtun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I could obviously speak both. So I did. That was that was the beginning of my career with the International Security Assistance Forces as an interpreter. I did that for about a year and a half.
How was that? Is that something that sort of the rest of your, people in the neighborhood, people around, is it something that they're looking down on, or they're like, yeah, good on you, Naz, going and doing what you're doing, or how do they feel about it?
The capital city was slightly different. We had a lot of a mixture of people, modern people, and people. Let me fix this mic quickly.
You're right.
Keep bumping it.
So good.
We had a mixture of people. So we had people that were quite modern, and we had people that were, a bit backward, I would say. The like-minded people like us, which was our neighborhood, they sort of looked at it like, well done, it's a good achievement. I was 17 years old. My first pay, and you probably laugh at me, it was about $120,000 American a year.
Yeah, that's
And
good money.
$1 is equivalent to 50 Afghanis
Yeah.
in currency. So I was literally a millionaire at the age of 17.
Jeez. What did you do with all that cash at 17 in Afghan?
Right here, the entire thing.
Just pissed it up the wall.
The entire
just like
thing
all of us.
just went right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire thing. Just my oldest of brothers used to work for the Dutch embassy at the time, one younger than him. We've got a big family. We've got 7 siblings besides myself.
Jeez.
So 8 including myself.
Yeah.
And one younger than him was you've asked the question, so I'll elaborate on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was an engineer, and he was subcontracted by the Yanks, by the Americans. His money, my money, compared to him, was literally nothing.
Yeah, right.
So you can make the imaginations.
Yeah.
My money, my 120K, was absolutely nothing to him compared to the money he was making at the time. So I never disclosed my income with anyone at all. And culturally, when you in Afghanistan, it's different. When you live in one house together with your siblings and your family and all that, you disclose your pays and how much money you make and all of that. In my case, I didn't do that. I just kept it to myself. No one ever asked me. It's like, oh, you're paying his school fees. Happy days, He's studying. He's going to work. What else could be better than this for parents to know that their kid is going to grade 12? It's cool, and then he's also working, making money for himself. That was it for them. They were happy with that. So, what was the actual question? I forgot the actual question.
What was it like growing up in Afghanistan?
Yes, no. The neighborhood that you spoke about, the neighborhood. There was people my age that they really sort of appreciated. They wanted us to they wanted me to, sort of refer them and get them a job like mine. However, it wasn't easy. I could and I couldn't. It was very hard to trust people. Obviously, whoever you introduce, you take it to a military base. You've got to be able to 100% trust them that this person is not going to do anything wrong.
Yeah, we know how that's turned out in the past.
Yeah,
for sure. There's been plenty of green on blues.
Heaps of stories that I can talk about.
Jonesy was killed on our trip.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, and I actually know of that story myself. It came on the news, and I knew people in Uruzgan as well that I actually asked them what happened. I know the entire story behind that. Well, not the entire. Some of it. But the older people, they looked upon it slightly different. They had the ration time in their mind, and ration time was different. Russians, when they came to the country, and I've heard the stories, they came on top of the sitting on top of the tanks, buying wheat from locals. It wasn't the same for us, was it?
No.
Very different, yeah. I mean, you know, getting out of the camp, you know, your base would be death sentence.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same for Russians apparently.
Yeah,
A
right.
single person would just walk out to the street, go to the local shops, buy their groceries, and come back. And it was okay for them to do that and buy weed or whatever they wanted to
Yeah.
buy. Back in Russian times, there was like we had bars and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah,
so it was
back
a
in
bit
the 80s.
They would just go to a local bar, sit down, have beers, and go back to the base. That was the norm apparently.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, I haven't seen it, but that's the stories that I hear. Um, so they didn't really think of it too deeply at all. Oh, yeah, he's working for the. They call them all Americans.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember we rocked into a village. I think it was Shanatu. I think was the name of it. We had to, it's about an hour and a half out of TK to this
Right.
chopper to get there, maybe even 2 hours. We got there and they thought we were Russians. They had not seen another white person before that. They were like, "Are you guys Russians?" We're like, "No, man. They left like 30 years ago. What are you talking about?"
Well,
Yeah.
I've had that as well. I had we went to a school. There was a place called Darulaman, the King's Palace. It was destroyed at the time, but right behind it was a little mountain. Behind the mountain was a village, and there was a school there. So we went there with the Canadian Army, and we dropped in some goodies, for the kids. And one of the, I think it was a principal, not a teacher, and he comes up to us. He's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Just ask the question, I don't understand what you're saying. You're like, who are they? They're Russians. I'm like, what Russians? Russians that got 30 years ago. Look at the flag.
Yeah.
That's not a Russian flag. He's like, I don't know what the flag is.
Yeah.
Like Canada. They're Canadians. Like, oh, when did they come?
Fucking hell. Yeah.
So yeah, there were people around that sort of did not understand or differentiate the uniforms, the people. Obviously, it's a crazy mix. When you go to the main cities like Kandahar, Herat, Jalalabad, Kabul, and all that, people are more sort of wiser. They understand. But when you go to the villages and all that, there's some villages that you will go and they don't even have a road till this day. They haven't seen a car. They haven't seen a car. So when you go with a big, tank like vehicle, a military carrier, they just look at it like some sort of an aliens here.
Yeah.
They don't even know what's going on. They just,
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's like the uncontacted tribes in the Congo or something like that. It's nuts.
We do have that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a country that was once so there's 5,000 years of history there. Unfortunately, the history, in my personal opinion, I'd say this. Obviously, I work with the community over here as well as other states. I'm in contact with many people from the community over here, and I raised this question: why are we such a bad mix?
What do you mean by that?
We've got some of the smartest people on earth. We've got some of the most naive people in that country that live alongside each other. So the knowledge has not been shared equally. You see a cluster of people that are extremely knowledgeable, and then you see a cluster of people that are extremely, disconnected with civilization altogether.
Yeah.
And you'd ask yourself the question, okay, if knowledge came, that knowledge should have been shared. So you should see some sort of connection in between, but there's no connection. It's just full stop. And then, people with no knowledge whatsoever, that if you go up there and you grow your beard and you say, I'm a sheikh, sheikh here?
Yeah.
Sheikh. Not the Arab sheikh.
Yeah.
The Arab sheikhs are different. Sheikh for us is more of an educated person who can teach.
Yeah. Sheikh, like chic or Sikh would be what we would.
Well, the
kind of
Sikh is different again. That's the Hindu.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's the Hindu.
Okay.
But sheikh is someone that's more knowledgeable about religion and culture and all that. Yeah. And if you grow a beard and say I'm a sheikh, and you start going to a mosque and start teaching people whatever you want to teach, they'll just follow you.
Yeah, just sort of ignorant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the villages, out back
Mm.
in the mountains, behind the mountains. But then when you come to the city, I don't know if there was a thing that I saw just recently, a documentary about a car that went to display in Qatar and became, I think, the third top vehicle in the world.
Yeah, right.
And it was built in Afghanistan. Obviously not the engine, just the design, the shape and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now, I believe that there's some of your biggest car manufacturers are sort of after the designer to see if they could copy the design into their cars.
Yeah, interesting.
And that happened literally 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So you've got people like that, and then you've got the other side as well that is totally disconnected from each other.
But how do you reconcile that though?
In my personal opinion, again, education is the key. Communication, the second one. There must be some sort of communication between, people, which is not taking place at all. It's sad, but it is the truth. When you say, look, Australia is the best example, 150, 200 years history. Look where we are. One of the top 20, in the top 20, we're probably, one of the highest ones in the economy. We're part of the G7. We've got a nation that is recognized around the world for innovation, for technology, for strength, for power, for economy. It all happened of two things: hard work and communicating that hard work with the future generations. It has a big impact, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So education, hard work, and communicate that through to your future generations. If that would happen to any country, I reckon that country would have no problems whatsoever. And unfortunately, that's not happening right now in that country.
Yeah. But there's also the old saying that ignorance is bliss. Those tribes that are sort of, I won't say uncontacted, but, a little bit more backward, not probably as progressive and, as modern. If they're still living happily the way that they are, should we be interfering with that? Should we be, forcing them to come forward into our way of life if what they're doing now is not harming anybody else and they're content and happy with the way that is?
You raised a good question. It opens up so many knots in my heart that I want to unopen or open and disclose on this platform with yourself
absolutely.
today. And,
mate, I'm here for it.
You know my background. So obviously, I started doing interpreting for the Canadians, and then from there, I did a close protection course with the Brits. It was an opportunity that I got from one of their brigadiers. He saw me speaking English, and like, oh, you speak brilliant English. Why don't you seize an opportunity? What opportunity? Well, just become a bodyguard. All right, okay. So I did a Phoenix course. It's a South African course.
Yeah.
It goes for 6 months. It was quite famous at the time. I don't know if it's still on and up.
I haven't heard of the Phoenix, but I've heard of the Ronin. Ronin down there. It was like a 2-week one.
Yeah. But Phoenix it would go for 6 months, but then they shortened it down. Now these days you can do 2 weeks course and you can become a bodyguard. So I did that 6 months course and I became a bodyguard. I worked with the Brits, with the Americans, and did that for a very few years. I know a lot of people from different militaries, from the British Army, from the Canadian Army, from the American Army, from the Hungarian, the Belgium, the Belgic, whatever you call them. And I know quite a fair few people that lost their lives in a war that was created for us, for yourself, for me, for many more young people, young men and women that shouldn't have lost their lives at all. And I've got reasons. I've got my reasons. And I'll give you, I don't know about Iraq and Syria and all of these other wars that took place, but I do know Afghanistan. I've sat down with generals. I've sat down with not just Afghan generals, but one of my concern was to look after a 2-star American Army general. what I realized was a 20 years war was created against people that were not involved in anything whatsoever. A single Arab came, misused a culture that welcomed any guest. You could go to any today, right now. I bet you any money. You go to Afghanistan today, knock on any door, whether it's close to the airport or 1,000 miles away from the airport. Just knock on the door and just say, I'm hungry and I need a roof over my head, and you will be welcomed. No questions asked about your religion, your color, your background, your anything. No questions asked. They will just host you.
Even today, I mean,
Even today.
Taliban's there. They're
Even
pretty.
today. I guarantee you go there today. If anyone points a finger towards you, I promise people will fight the Taliban today. If you go there and ask someone, that's the culture. It will not change. It's been there for thousands of years. That culture, excuse me, not just Taliban, no matter who comes in, cannot change that culture. An Arab, okay, did that exact same thing. He came and he said, hey, I'm in danger. I need a roof over my head and I need some food. And people give him place. Allowed him, welcomed him. You know, here's the place. You can stay here and there's food. I'll share my food with you. You stay here. For that to draw young men and women from around the world, you know, to fight for what? It did not make sense. And I've got my reasons for this as well.
But how did we get there from one Arab to the war from your vantage point?
Politics.
It's always politics.
Politics and politicians. No, I'm involved in that as well. I'll talk about it. In my opinion, they needed a solid ground to sort of, you know, counter Russia and China. So Afghanistan, a map that's like this. It's you know, when you say, people say they're from Middle East, it's not Middle East, it's Middle East Asia.
Yeah.
A lot of people say I'm from Middle East. Middle East where? Middle East of America, or Australia? Or you've got Middle East everywhere.
Yeah.
But Middle East of Asia, the center of it is actually Afghanistan. That's we call it the heart of Asia. 85 kilometers border with China, attached with Russia. If you've got a base right in there, guess what? You're overseeing everything, don't you? So they thought about it and they created that. In my opinion, my person, they created that and they did just made an excuse to bring people in from around the world and create that base, which was played very incorrectly because a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, 2020, there was an agreement signed between the Yanks, the Taliban, the Qatari government, that they will hand over the government back to the people that they fought for 20 years. I've got a copy of that agreement.
Do you?
I do.
How'd you get a copy of the agreement?
It's available.
Oh, it's just available online?
It's available
okay.
online now.
Yeah.
Initially, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So remember when you went to Afghanistan for, you know, to obviously we all did. I did. I had a gun on my shoulder for a good fucking 7 years fighting against Taliban. I did that. I lost some really good friends. I nearly died myself. I've been bombed twice. The vehicle that I was in, I was bombed. So I fought the same fight you fought. Yeah, the same fight that you fought. I fought the same thing. Same as every other individual that was involved in that, you know, clusterfuck I would call it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yet these same politicians, you know, sign a document and bring those very same people back into power. It's the same politicians that sent me and you into war against these people. So to me, it was all a fucking, you know, a story that they just created. The particulars of the story, we can't go. That'll take us hours and hours and hours to go into. But generally just speaking, they just fucking created a clusterfuck for everyone. Created a show for the TVs and all that. Here it is. This is the story. You know what, Jack? You grab a gun, go over there and fight. Naz, here's a gun for you as well. Go fucking fight against these people. But yet, we will sign an agreement with them and bring them back 20 years later. We're just not going to tell you right now.
Oh, we knew on the ground at the time. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
We were all saying it while we were there. Like, as soon as we leave, it's going back to what it was before. Like, Taliban will be in rule again.
Yeah, and we knew that as well. You know, when they first said that the government, we've created this fucking government, we spend billions, trillions of dollars, not billions. A billion is 1,000 million.
Yeah.
FYI. A trillion.
Thanks, Naz.
a trillion is 1,000 billion. They fucking spend trillions.
Yeah.
Okay. For what? Is the question.
To
For
make
what?
trillions. To make trillions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was watching Tucker Carlson was doing an interview with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and he was talking about why he believes that NATO is pushing into Ukraine. And he's like, it's all because of, in his estimation, all because of BlackRock and Vanguard, because they already have secured the contracts to rebuild Ukraine. So no matter which way the war pans out, they've got the contracts to go in there and make trillions rebuilding the country. But if Ukraine joins NATO, they then have to do away with their arsenal and use NATO-approved weapons and think
win-win.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
win-win.
Which BlackRock and Vanguard, and there's probably the Rothschild or someone else in there, they have the factories to build those weapons. So
Absolutely.
they're going to have the contracts to provide the weapons. So they provide all the bullets and the weapons to kill everybody and then the resources to rebuild it after it's all destroyed. Like, it's a win-win for them. They make trillions on the back end.
It's so sad. And I see this the Ukraine war, the this Palestine and Israel and all that. This is all just whatever we see on the TV is just crap. They just want
propaganda.
to feed us.
Yeah.
There's no real war anywhere in the world right now. Me and you, look at the difference in our skin color. We're having a cup of green tea or, in your case, a beer.
Little beer.
And for me, my green tea.
Thanks, Burley Big Head. If you want to sponsor the podcast, let me know.
You should. It's good business. It's coming from an entrepreneur today. Sponsoring this show, I reckon, in my personal opinion, is probably the best thing. And I'm actually keen to sponsor this through my business. And I've mentioned this before as well. I will do it.
Yeah, we'll definitely
man
talk,
of my
man.
word.
We'll
Man of my
talk.
word.
We'll talk.
But having that said, it's just a scenario that they've created for themselves to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, me and you are sitting over here having a civil conversation, and I'll do this on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure you do this on a daily basis. There is no hate. There is no differences. There's nothing at all. We bleed the same. We talk the same. We eat the same. And we poop the same.
Yeah. It's one way to put it, sure.
Yeah. So, in other words, in more civilized words, we're just fucking humans. Just live our life.
Yeah. So what's it like for you seeing, like, I know it sucked for us watching the fall of Afghan back in 2021, I believe it was, handed after all that, all the blood loss, all the, the brothers we lost, in service and then post service and whatnot. What was it like for you watching, as essentially the most horrendous withdrawal and hand the country back over to an extremist group?
It opened up new avenues for myself. I'm a painter these days. I'm a painter by trade, qualified painter. I was just doing that, just painting houses. Got to come to Jake's house or someone else's house and just paint. That's what I was doing. When I saw the footage from, actually, tell you the truth, I actually found out about it 2 weeks prior. I had some really good connections within the government over there. I had people that used to work for the government. They were literally 5 minutes from, working in the same building as the President Ghani. 2 weeks prior to the fall, I had a call from an Afghan army colonel who used to be my classmate at school. He's like, Naz, got to do something, mate. What's happening? He's like, mate, you got to pull us out of this country because we're going to fall. What do you mean we're going to fall? He's like, it's happened already. The government has fallen. In about 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, we're not going to have anyone at all to protect us, and we can't escape this country. Do something. I raised it. I started raising it with people over here. I knew the ambassador His name is Waisi. At the time, I called him. His brother was a good mate of mine, so I called him. Like, are you aware of what's happening? He's like, I am aware of it somewhat, but obviously it was not something that everyone knew about. Even the ambassadors and stuff, they were kept in the dark. So I said, can we do something? Because soon the Afghans in Australia will not have an embassy. Soon we'll have a whole heap of people that once held a gun against Taliban are now going to be, in the hands of Taliban. We need to do something to pull these people out of the country. That went to fucking nothing at all. It did nothing. So the ambassador or the people, the community elders over here couldn't do anything either. They did not know what to do. I approached a mate of mine who's lived in Queensland longer than I have, and he knows more people than I did at the time. And I said, the best way to raise awareness is to put a protest up and get people together and let them, understand what's happening, what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, and what they should expect. We did that. He started contacting the communities. It's like 17, 18 different mobs within Afghan community. And he's like, all right, we'll contact them. We got them together under one roof, and I started talking to all of them. And there's older people and young people and community leaders and whatnot. And I said, listen, in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks' time, A, the government's going to fall. B, if you had families and friends or anyone that used to work for the International Security Assistance Forces or for the government or anyone that was in the media that worked against the Taliban, they're going to be exposed. They're going to be in the hands of Taliban. Initially, everyone thought that I'm just, because obviously no one knew about this yet. They thought that I'm just fucking around with them. I'm after something different. I've got motives and agendas and this and that, and everyone just sort of ignored me. So I sent a publication to the communities. I said, we're hosting an event in Brisbane City. By the time we started organizing this protest, we heard that the only city that was not yet taken over by the Taliban was Kabul. That was the only place. Everywhere else was taken over already. So people knew that the government's gone now. They heard us then, the community leaders and all that. We were expecting about 400, 300 people. About 4,500 people rocked up.
Shit.
Brisbane City, we were not prepared.
we did not have enough sausages for that sausage sizzle.
No. Well, there was no sausage sizzle. We literally brought a loudspeaker probably the size of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100 people. We're just going to let them, raise some concerns and this and that. Before we knew it, we had TV channels, media, and, radio stations, and everyone's there. There's cops everywhere. There's 4,000 people, 4,500 people there. We had a route to march from I think it was King's Square to just go around a couple of roads or streets in the city and then just come back and finish it off in King's Square. That turned out into a massive event, and I would draw attention from different media channels, from politicians and stuff like that. And I figured out that there was more people onto it than just me, other Afghans.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, the fall initially was unaccepted to me. I felt betrayed. Actually posted something because by then there's videos on TV, literally every single TV channel, that people were running after the airplane at the airport. There was a C-5 or C-17 American plane, and people were just running after, and there was a couple of people that died of that as well. Yeah. So I drew the attention of a few politicians, a few senators, and then I was called in and I explained myself that, look, I personally know at least 200 people that are at the airport right now. And this is like a James Bond movie. I'm going to elaborate a bit more because this is the highlight of my last 5 years. What I did, I can't believe what I did. it actually took place. And if I told you what we ended up doing, you would probably say, Naz, what the fuck?
No, tell me all.
So, long story short, again, I had to pull out at least 200 people that were either my contacts, people that were contacts of other immediate people that I knew from the Queensland community. So we put this on the table between myself. There's another lady, an African lady, who's actually a candidate for a seat in Queensland Parliament at the moment. She's going for it.
Oh, there you go.
Herself and a senator, a great person. I call him a hero. And I said, these people have worked for either the Americans or the Brits or the Australian Army or someone in the international community. These people are known. There's database. Their name is on that database. And when Taliban take over, and they will take over, that list will be exposed. They will know their address, their phone number, their name, everything. There
Their
will
fingerprints.
be their fingerprints. Yes.
Yeah, their biometrics.
The
Yeah.
biometric, everything will be exposed to them, and these people cannot die. Not because politicians decided that they're going to hand it over back to the same people. It's just not acceptable. We were heard. Luckily, we were heard. Um, uh, we and I had to explain myself, and I said who I am, what I've done, and why I feel like it is so wrong what the international community has done to all of these young men and women, whether it was from the Australian Defence Force, whether it was an American or a Brit or a Canadian. People have lost their lives. You told us that go to a fight, go to a war, and we did that. You can't just undo that now. You can't just put people in the hands of the same people that you told us to go and fight against. I was gutted, anyways. I had a terrible time for at least 2 months until I achieved what I wanted to achieve. You know, I knew that this was just so wrong. Luckily, the politicians, the senator that I was dealing with, he helped us out. We pulled out at least 180 people out of Afghanistan at the time, and the way we pulled them out was just a James Bond type of thing.
So were you on the ground doing that, or were you just liaising back here in Australia?
Okay, so you want to go in details?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
We established safe houses.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, I had my contacts. I established, and I put my own money onto it. I literally went bankrupt. Literally, I'm not even joking. I literally went bankrupt for that. I had a really good business going on at the time. I put in everything that I had in my dispense. I just put them on the ground and said, "This is what I've got. I'm going to use this." And I started asking other people to help me out as well. We created safe houses, safe transport. These were the two things that I had to do. So safe houses for people and it wasn't one or two people. So 180, 200 people. We created at least 3 or 4 different safe houses, and we had safe transport where people would just clothe like Taliban, put a turban on, and just dress like them, talk like them, act like them, and everything. We did not know what Taliban's going to be like this time. Last time wasn't good. One by one, obviously these people left their houses. No passports, no documents, no identity cards or anything at all. They couldn't carry it with them because if they were stopped, you see their passport, they'd type it into a database. By now, capital city was taken over already.
Yeah.
They just needed two days or 3 days before they had access to every single one of them, because their priorities would have been to secure the area and then start chasing people. That would have been, you know the deal. You know how it works.
Yeah.
So I knew that we had a few days, maybe a week. So we told people to leave your houses. Don't take any documents with you whatsoever. Nothing at all. And we knew the challenges, because if you don't have documents, you can't cross the border.
Yeah.
There was the airport still at our dispense. You know, there was at least 20, 30 planes still taking off to take the military personnel around the world. We missed all those planes.
Fuck.
We've missed all those planes,
Yeah.
like every single one of them. And my 180 people, out of them, probably 10 or 15 did manage to go in. We lost all those planes. We could not get get onto the plane. So the new challenge was to keep these people away from A, the authorities, the new authorities, B, from their own houses, C, from their own documents and everything. And ended up into safe houses that we created. One by one, each family was transported from safe houses to a bordering city, Jalalabad, to Pakistan. Over here, the senator that was helping us out, who would communicate with who'd get the list off us, write down their name literally on a blank piece of paper, and give it to the senator and said, "This is the people. These are the people that we need to evacuate right now." He would then communicate with the Home Affairs. The Home Affairs would then issue a evacuation visa, which was literally one page. One page, and that one page would go to the people via WhatsApp. We then had the mission to take these people to the border, go through Taliban checkpoints, clear that, and take them to Pakistan. From there, the embassy would pick them up in a secure vehicle. It was a mission and a half, but we did.
How the fuck did you get them through the Taliban checkpoints?
I don't want to go more into particulars because we still have people. I'm still working on that.
Okay.
Till this day, I've got at least another 10, 15 people that I need I need to evacuate, and I'm unable. I could do it then. I can't do it right now. Very, very hard. But then I was just spending money left, right, and center. I had people that I could trust who were no more in that country. They had to leave as well. So the people that created the safe houses, the safe transport and everything, they're not there anymore. I don't have those resources anymore. They've gone to either America or England or here in Australia. So I can't. Obviously, I expect your business to grow. And this podcast will reach somewhere, and I do have quite a fair few people on my social medias and all that might listen to this. I will put this on, so I'll not disclose the entire thing. But yes, what we did wasn't just my personal effort, one person's effort. It was an entire team that did it. But 180 people are here today. 170.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing.
They're here. They're living a more safer life, happier life. And these are the people like yourself and like myself did something to, in favor of the same cause that me and you once did, grab a gun on our shoulder, and we fought that battle.
Do you miss it? Afghanistan?
Good question. Every now and then I ask myself, would I do it again? Would I do it again? Question is no. The simpler question is no.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't do it again, no. I feel like I was too dumb to do what I did. Some of the things that I did when I was younger, I think a normal person with a straight head would not even think about it. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just did it.
Like what? Like what?
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story. Not a stupid story, I'd say. There was Dominic Worthy, a Black American Master Sergeant. Our compound was right. It was attached to the American Embassy, but we were not part of the American Embassy. So we had 3 villas. So the American Embassy, and this is all green zone. And then there's a small little road that comes in that not many people know about it, but we know that there's a gate that opens and you drive in. Our compound was called the Collar House. Through our compound was another pedestrian gate that people with long beard, turbans would go in. They would speak, the local languages and all that. But then every now and then you'd see they would wear a corporate shirt, and you could tell that they're not who you think they are. They were either CIA or FBI or one of them. Anyway, but but they could speak the local languages just like any other local, and they looked like locals. Everything was just like that. Anyways, Dominic Worthy, he made a girlfriend. His mate David, don't remember his last name, but these were military officials. However, they used to work. They built Kabul airport, the military side. Yeah. These people were in charge. Yes, they in charge of billions of dollars. I'm talking about. One day he goes to me like, Naz, I got to take my girlfriend out. What do you mean out? Like, to downtown fucking Kabul.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to do? Like, I just want to go. I just want to have a kebab and come back. Fucking just like normal, when you go. Okay. How many guys? There's 4 of us. I can't take 4. I can take 3. What do you mean? I will drive, and I need 3 more people with me. You're not driving. You're not touching the driver's side at all. It's me, and I choose the vehicle. We had a lot of those GMC trucks.
Yeah.
All bulletproof with fucking antennas and this and that. And then we had the soft skin vehicles, the serfs and all of that. And I said, we're going to take
the
that
Toyota Surf.
The Toyota Surf.
Fucking hell. Toyota Surf is the fucking vehicle of Afghanistan. Every intel report is that there is Taliban driving a white Toyota Surf with fucking roof racks. Look out for it. Give you the drum. Every fucking vehicle over there's a white Toyota Surf with roof racks.
We had one in the compound, and every now and then, so we'd have an advanced vehicle. That was our advanced vehicle. Every single fucking trip, we'd take that as an advance. It looked like a fucking suicide bomber's car.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta look like them,
yeah.
I said we're gonna take that car, not a bulletproof car, and no guns, exposed guns, and not uniform. You can wear your jeans and t-shirt or whatever, but not uniforms. Like, are you serious? I'm like, fucking, you want to go out to downtown? You can't go in uniform. There's no backup. Something happens, we're on our own. Anyways, we decided that one night everyone's the base is shut. I'll go to the gate guys, and obviously the gate was managed by the locals. And I said, hey, 10 o'clock, there's a car coming out. No questions asked. You raise the boom up. You let us out. When I come back, I've got your radio. I'll call you 2 minutes before. You just raise the gate. We go, lights out, no lights in. We just park the car. No questions asked. And I'll look after you guys. Like, what do you mean? I fucking told you to do that. Just do it. Took the guys out. And they wanted to have the Afghan hashish. So provided the circumstances, everything that they asked at the time, there was one girl, 2 guys, a black American, a white American, and a black girl, and myself. And we went to the local restaurant. We had a nice kebab, a couple of bongs, I reckon. Brought them back. Now that I think about it, anything would have happened to these people or to me. I was fucked.
Yeah.
I was fucked. I had another guy who used to be my assistant on site, and one day he calls me at 8 o'clock at night, and he goes to me, hey, can you come to this district? And that district is literally no man's zone. I wouldn't go there on a broad daylight, but he's like, can you come over here? So I'll go there. It's about an hour and a half away from Kabul city. He's got a basement. Underneath the basement, he's got a fucking machine, probably half of the size of this room. He's like, we found this. I'm like, you don't fucking find shit like that. Where'd you get this from? So apparently they caught people that stole this from a transport vehicle that was taking it to an American base. Like, he was stealing it. So instead of him taking it back to his place, we stole it off the thief. We brought it over here.
Fucking hell. What was the machine?
Okay, so I went through the manuals and stuff like that. It was a radar.
Dude.
Worth millions of dollars. Seriously. And I'm like to the guy, I'm like, why the fuck did you call me? What did you call me for? He's like, oh, I couldn't read English.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways, it was reported back to the thing. I was like, look, you can't keep this over here. You can't use it. The only people that will bite off you is either, the neighboring country's intelligence, or which is travel.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be part of that. Or you take it back to the American Army. You might get a bonus for taking it back.
finding it, yeah.
Yeah. And he did too.
Yeah.
He did get $100,000 for just taking it back.
Of course he did.
To them. And he was a hero because he recovered it.
Yeah, I did. I did laugh. There was a guy from our battalion, Private X, he shall remain nameless, who I believe, as the story goes, they'd taken a bit of a short halt on a patrol, and he sat down on a tree and took his bag off, just chilled out, and they were there 5-10 minutes, whatever. And their secos, section commander, sorry for those listening, was like, all right, let's go, fellas, we'll pick up and keep moving. So they've picked up and they've kept moving. They've got like a K down the road, and he's jumped on the radio and going, oi, fuck, I forgot my bag. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I forgot my bag. I took it off. I forgot that I'd taken it off. I just kind of stood up and left, and it's still sitting under the tree back there. And he's like, oh, well, it's just a bag. He's like, no, that's got my night weapon sight in it, which is a very expensive piece of kit, very important for night fighting. They're like, fuck. All right, we're going to go back. So they patrolled back. It's gone. It's gone. It was missing for about 3 days. And a couple of SAS blokes, as the story goes, found it for sale in the bazaar of TK. And some dude tried to sell it to him. And they're like, no, that is stolen. We're not paying shit. Yeah. I believe they just took it back and walked out of there.
There's a lot of stories like that. But these are we actually, excuse me, we had a bazaar in downtown Kabul. It was called the Bush Bazaar. George Bush.
Yeah. Why?
Anything stolen from the battle zones. Yeah. Anything that was, stolen from the transportation tracks and stuff. And they would do that. They would fucking burn down the truck. Okay. They get full money for the truck. And anything that was inside the truck would be going to the Bush Bazaar. And so they will sell that separately, and they'll get more money for the truck as well.
Yeah. There was definitely some, I wouldn't say extortion, but extorting of the good nature of the paying people for stuff, for sure. Yeah. Which, make your money. It is what it is.
Everything is fair in love and war.
Yeah, exactly right.
Say, yeah. And it was fair to me as well at the time.
Plenty of people rocking up with burnt out goat bodies going, gee, you shot bombs, killed my goat, give me money. And they're getting like, $500 US. A year's worth of money for one goat, and then fucking off. They probably burnt the goat themselves.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. I remember I picked up a VIP from the Kabul airport, and the American embassy was literally 2 minutes from the airport. You got to I don't know.
I didn't go to Kabul.
Oh, right, okay. So here's the airport. This is the American embassy. There's one straight road. Driving over here, and it was a congested road. There was a 2-vehicle convoy. I was the lead vehicle. There's a little van that just pulled over, to the side. And for us, it was if you've got a VIP, you don't stop. You just hit him. You move forward. You don't stop. I just hit the guy, pushed him out, made room for the second vehicle. We drove into the American embassy. About an hour later, we have the American embassy trying to contact our base, our little Vela. Like, we've got a van over here, and this guy's putting a show up. Okay, we've got the ambassador coming in. We can't have him over here. We either shoot him, or someone comes from your villa and speak with them, because it wasn't one of our vehicles. We've got the registration number. It's one of your vehicle, not the embassy. Yeah. And they're thinking it's the embassy that hit him. He wants a compensation. Genuinely saying, I had to pay him $800 out of my own pocket to get away with that. Because I went to my boss. He's like, "I don't fucking you.
Yeah,
you did it. Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "I had no choice. It was on my way. I had to. I couldn't stop over. I've got a VIP. I don't care. You're paying him."
Wow.
I paid $800 out of my pocket.
That sucks.
Just to
smooth it over.
Get away with it. But yeah, that was. This is all the Afghanistan stories. I know that there's heaps more that I could probably talk about, but it's all sad. Genuinely saying, it's so sad, all of it that we're talking about. To other people that are listening, I do apologize, because it might sound like we're having fun, good time, and this and that, but it's an entire generation that we're talking about that went fucking down. It's an entire generation that suffered, both over here us, how many people do we know that either have PTSD or took their lives? I know quite a few people around the world that I knew that they came for a good cause. However, they lost their lives. Why? Because some fucking politicians decided that they're going to do things their way. Unfortunately. So yeah, while we're having a laugh.
Yeah. Look, there's still highlights and there's still good times, even in war. There are still times that you can have a laugh with.
Absolutely. That's the only way you can cope with it.
Yeah.
The things that you did, the place that you went from a civilized place to a place like Uruzgan.
Yeah. It's something that people don't know is how beautiful it is. Like the country itself, like picturesque, the mountains, stunning. Like if it wasn't war torn and full of the Taliban, it'd be fucking beautiful to go and visit.
Just reminded me of someone.
Yeah.
He sounded like Mark Willis. I'm still in contact with him. He's a civil engineer who came on a contract in it was North Kabul was there's a police district that they were building, and he was the in charge, and he would go there, and with the civil engineers or civilian side, we would let them drive. We'd have one bodyguard at the front seat and one shooter at the back. So that was the format. 2 vehicles minimum. And this guy sitting on the driver's seat, literally holding like this, he would be like this, driving like this and taking photos. Yeah. It's so beautiful.
It is, mate. It is. It is stunning.
He was fascinated.
Yeah, I remember going to New Zealand with one of my ex-girlfriends, and we landed in Christchurch, and I got emotional. I looked around, I was like, the mountains of New Zealand is the closest thing I've seen to the mountains of Afghanistan. And I was just, every one of my mates that I've talked to who deployed to Afghan, who's been to New Zealand and the South Island, said the same thing. They're like, dude, I landed and I was fucking transported back in time. Yeah. And I'm just like, this, like, fuck. Like it is, it's stunning.
Takes you
so
back.
So
it
picturesque.
It is known for that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something different.
Well, when did you move to Australia then?
Oh, I'm fresh off the boat.
Yeah. Picked you up from the docks.
That's it, fresh off the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been here a while. When did you actually get the move over?
May 24th, 2011.
Okay. Yeah. That would have been around the time we got back from overseas. Yeah.
The time I landed at the airport.
But how did you get the transition to Australia? If you were working for the Canadians initially, I assume you got a visa out of the sort of the working deal there, or what?
No,
how did that work?
Different story altogether. So my wife, she visited her families in Afghanistan, and obviously she was raised over here. She could hardly speak the local languages, and I was one that she could communicate with. And we sort of bonded together, and we liked each other. We got engaged. The first time she came, the second time she came to see if we could live in Afghanistan. That didn't go well, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So we decided that I'll come over here, and we started life over here. It was a good move.
Yeah,
but it was a hard one.
Yeah.
When I first, before you even ask me the next question, I'll get into it. Too sharp, eh? I've got a problem. They say I'm over informative.
Yeah, that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes it's not good, but yeah, I'm over informative, and I moved over here. I thought it would be an easy gig because I'm not cocky, but I'm confident. I thought I could do whatever I did over there. I could do over here, and make a life out of it, and it would be easy. I did not know anything. I'd never been outside Afghanistan. It was obviously Pakistan and Afghanistan, or Asia in general, and so I when I came over here, I realized that life's not as easy and straightforward as it was in Afghanistan. Never paid a bill over there. Never cared about road rules.
Yeah.
Never.
No road rules.
As long as you can hold the steering and you can go, maneuver left and right. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all you need.
Yeah. There's no minimum amount of people or maximum that you can fit on the back of a jingle truck.
No. A little station wagon could fit 20 people.
Yeah.
As long as you can fit them in, that's fine.
Yeah. I've seen a family of like 6 on a moped. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
So there was complications when I first started, and I think it's the story of every single person that comes into this, not just Afghan, anyone that comes as a refugee or migrant or immigrant. There's differences. Will probably have the same or similar sort of problems or complications when they first start. I was still fortunate enough I could speak the language. I had no problem with linguistic problems. What I did have problem with, I only knew one thing: how to operate a gun.
It's a big problem for a lot of us.
Yeah, that was the only thing I knew. Never worked at a shop. Never even crossed my mind how a person operates a shop. I just went to a shop and fucking pay. Here's your money. Give me my goods. Walk away from it. Did not know anything. Did not know how to pay bills or lived a uniform life from 17 years old. I was 24, I think, when I came to Australia. I did not have any skills whatsoever. And I had, mountains of weight on my shoulders to get married over here. And my in-laws are well known in Victoria, Melbourne. They've been living here for the last 35, 37 years or so. They're not quite a fair few people in Afghan weddings, or not small. You invite literally 300, 400 people that you don't even know, that you got to feed them. I'm talking about hundreds, not hundreds, probably, at the time it was $70,000, $80,000 to spend on a wedding. No, I came to Australia with $600 American in my pocket.
Jeez. Is that just a cultural thing that you got to invite everyone?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Why is that? What's the, why is that of such cultural significance?
Look, the Afghans pride themselves in having a good culture, hospitable and this and that. But I see it different. I see that there's no perfect culture in the world. All cultures would have the positives and the negatives.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there's a lot of positives in that culture, but there's a lot of negatives as well. One of them being this culture of inviting so many people. Like from my wedding, I had about 300, 350 people. Genuinely saying, I probably knew about 20 of them.
Shit.
If I see this one of them today, out of those 300, people or 350 people, I probably don't even fucking know them.
Yeah.
But I fed them.
Yeah.
I fed them, and they came to my wedding. But it's. I think the reason they do it is reputation. The bigger your reputation, the more people you know, the more people you invite, and the more people will invite you.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on growing because you know 2 people, those 2 people know another 2 people, and it just grows like that. So that's, in my opinion, that's the reason. Not a good culture at all, because if you go to religious side, it is totally against all of that. That's waste of money. Religion teaches you to, hey, spend money wisely and spend money in a way that benefits you, not leaves you out of pocket. But the culture is totally opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does exist. I'll go back to my before you ask me the question.
Yeah.
I've got a big mouth.
No, that's fine. Go nuts, mate. Go nuts.
The moving to Australia was a good thing. I love it. This is my home now. This is my place. Been living here for the last 13 years. I think I'm going to be living here for the rest of my life. I love it. I love everything about Australia. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people, and I consider myself an Australian. When I consider myself a place my home, when I consider a place my home, I do everything that I would do at home, and I've done. I've jumped on a uniform. I tried my best to get into a uniform, do whatever I can do for the community. And I've done that as well. As you would know, we've worked together in the past. I know everyone that comes over here talks about corrections. So I'll try not to talk about corrections too much.
It's all right.
But for the viewers, in case you guys want to know, yes, we've worked together. We've worked at a corrective facility, an officer in front of me and an officer in front of him.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, I won't be working there anymore. So it's not fussed. It's fine.
Fair enough. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'll be going.
Yeah, I'll cap at 5 years. That's max. Anything
I'm in my 7th. I'm fucking over it.
We'll come to that anyways.
Yeah.
5 years. Actually, no, I've got to talk about this. Before I talk about anything else, I've said this every single day of working at the center.
Yeah.
5 years is maximum you can work at a corrective service facility. Anything above that will take you away from your normal life. The dark humor and everything that you do. Sorry, viewers, it will confuse you guys, but I promise I'll get back to the original talk.
Yeah. It's fine. We can go on tangents. It's not a drama.
But 5 years max. Anything above that, your dark humor is not recognized outside in the society.
I was fucked when I got there.
Yeah. So I was like, I had to quit. I had to quit. But yeah, dude, this is me from Afghanistan transiting into Australia. In Australia, I started with $600 in my pocket. The first $600 went into a hotel room for a couple of days, and it was gone. From there, I started from scratch, and here I am sitting in front of you. This is Naz.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot to talk about it as well.
Dude, you've got it's an incredible thing that you've done to get there.
Thanks.
So what did you do? Like, if you spent that $600 straight away on a hotel, what did you do from there?
I actually started living with my in-laws. I did for about two and a half years until I actually got married. I'm very appreciative of that for letting me, stay at their place and everything.
And are they very like traditionally Islamic and Afghani as well?
Yeah.
So how does that work? With like, did that create tension and issues?
They had to bend the rules.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, rules is to not live in the same house unless you're married.
Yeah, which...
Yeah. And you would know that. So they had to bend the rules a little bit. And eventually my intentions were to sort of work hard and get on my feet, stand on my feet, start a life, have my own place, pay for the wedding and everything as well. And the entire thing needed about $70,000 or $80,000.
So much money.
And brand new in the country.
Yeah.
It was a big move culturally. Although culturally not, because from age 17, I lived less at home in Afghanistan, more at bases, military bases. So I was standing and sitting and talking, walking, and everything was more with the Yanks and the Brits and the Americans than it was with the Afghans. And my postings were in either a British embassy, Canadian embassy, the World Bank. So I wasn't posted into smaller places. I was posted in places where I speak with diplomats, generals, and all these fucking high people. And in the beginning, I said, a fortunate life, a very fortunate life, but bumpy ride.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, my life. So coming over here was the struggles that I think I had was obviously trying to find a way that I can survive financially.
Yeah.
So I went and did a security course.
Yeah.
Within the first week or two, I started looking into it. Started applying for jobs. The qualifications and everything that I had overseas were not recognized over here. And that's probably the biggest battle many people have when they come from overseas. Yeah, I know doctors.
Yeah.
Their qualifications are not recognized over here, so they're painters. They work for me.
Yeah.
I've got engineers. Their qualifications are not recognized. They work for me. So I've got.
Are they working to get those qualifications like adjusted and recognized, or
that's redoing 4 years of uni?
They just have to redo it all. There's no bridging course. There's no
nothing.
That's fucked.
That is fucked.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not fucked. It's actually good. I've got more painters.
Yeah, true. And someone to patch you up when you fuck it up.
That's it.
But it makes it like I understand it from a certain level that, like our country, this is how we do medicine. we want to make sure everyone's on the same page. We're all practicing the same way. But I can't imagine, like, the human body, it's the human body. Like, no matter where you go, there might be slightly outdated or more modern practices here than in Afghanistan or whatever. But surely that basic knowledge of, like, biology and shit, you would be, like, they'd be able to transfer that. There should be some sort of bridging course where they can kind of test where you're at, go, okay, yep, cool. You are here, but we just need it to be here, and there's like a small bridging course. That's ridiculous that they don't have that.
You're absolutely right.
That's dumb.
It does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
Either. It's so. And I feel like we're backwarded in that sense. In Australia, we need doctors right now. We need engineers. We need electricians. We need everyone, especially in Queensland. We've got Olympics just around the corner.
Oh mate, we're fucked for that. Let's be honest, we're fucked. It's going to be a clusterfuck.
Not ready for it at all. And I'll tell you from a little bit later about construction sites. We're fucking struggling, but your doctors, like you said, anatomy is the same, isn't it?
Yeah,
it does not change. We've all got a dick.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us are doctors, so we could be wrong. It could be real different, and we're just fucked. We're just talking shit.
Yeah, I think what the concern from the government side may be, in my opinion, the language abilities. But you can't become a doctor in Afghanistan if you can't speak English, because every single medicine is in it's taken from the Greek methodology, and then it's been transformed into English language, and all of that. So the doctors can write. Actually, they can't write. No doctors can write.
It's all chicken scratch.
And that's a universal thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the course. That's the first 6 months of your doctor uni degree. I had to correct
myself on that one because I can't fucking read their handwritings. But yeah, my brother, who was part of the 180 people that I brought over, and he used to be contractor for the Americans. He can speak fluent English and everything, and he's an engineer, electrical engineer, but he's an apprentice at age of 42 years old. He's an apprentice today.
An apprentice engineer, apprentice painter, what?
Electrical engineer. He's doing it from scratch, and the guy. So my 120K, when I said earlier, was nothing for him income-wise. The guy had about 20, 30 guys working for him, had his own business. The Clipsal Engineering is internationally recognized electrical firm. He had the branch or the franchise in Afghanistan. The guy was running it over here. All of his knowledge, back to zero.
That just doesn't make any fucking sense. That's dumb.
I'm just laughing, but
it is frustrating. A bridging course. I can understand, like I said, not giving a straight one for one. Like, you were, so here you can be.
It should be a bridging.
Yeah,
I totally
bridge the gap of knowledge.
So fucking
at least just a test where they can go, okay, no, you do know what you're doing, because there would be fucking dodgy people to come over that don't know shit like any other industry.
I totally agree with you. I'm not. It's not everything that can be done that way. Like I was a bodyguard overseas. Okay, my job was to bodyguard at a front line. As a close protection officer at front line. You don't need that post or that position or that job. There is no availability in Australia for it. I totally understand. When I came over here, it was not recognized. I had to do a Cert 3 again, Cert 3 armed security. I changed it to cash and transit instead of doing the bodyguard, because there was no need for bodyguard. So so I did cash and transit instead. That I can understand, but a doctor or an engineer or anything of that sort of a field, I reckon Australia should have some sort of a bridging system for it that recognises the education system.
Which
we could use these
make
people.
Sense.
We could use these people within our community. There's fucking need for it right now.
Oh, absolutely, especially in construction. And it's a big issue. I think there's a lot of youth today that all they want to be is YouTubers. They don't want to, they don't want to get out. They don't want to be on the tools. They don't want to work in the sun. They don't want to do hard labor. No. They just want to sit inside and play games and stream.
It pays them better money, but
for the 1% of them that get there, absolutely.
That's me from Afghanistan to Australia. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's stuff that I've done over here as well,
Mm.
that I can talk about. And if you're interested, I'm a little bit of a politician these days.
Yeah. Why don't we take a quick piss break, and we'll get
Thank
into
you.
that after.
You're a smart man.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do
I'm
that.
busting, dude.
I'm busting too.
We'll be back in a second. All right. So before we went for a piss, you mentioned you're getting into politics. What's your journey into politics been like?
Play politics against politicians.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a very dirty, icky sort of profession to get into. I mean, you're not doing it professionally, but it seems like that world's very, very murky and sort of. Here's the way I look at it. I think there's definitely like some dodgy people who get into it just because they like power. But I think there's also plenty of people who get into it because they want to do something good. They genuinely want to help the community and the people around them and the country and, whatever level they're going to. But in order for them to get to the level in which they actually have that influence to make positive changes, they've had to compromise so many different things along the way and make deals to get themselves to that position that by the time they get there, they're so compromised they can't do fuck all.
Yeah.
They owe too many people too many things. They can't actually put forward the change that they want to put forward.
You're absolutely right about that. It's a dirty business.
Yeah.
Very dirty.
Yeah. So what led you into it then?
Short answer.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to actually get into it and candidate myself.
Yeah.
Long answer.
Yeah.
I looked at it as an opportunity to help the community through politics, knowing politicians and all that. And you're absolutely right. When you get into politics, your main goal is to attract people, create a community of your own that can support you when you need it, and you need the votes. Vote. That's all it is. So you gotta please everyone, people that you like and people that you don't like. That's something that I would not compromise my personality with. However, you're right. There is good people out there, and then there's people that are not that great. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that I went close to interfering in politicians' businesses and stuff like that was I found some really good people that I connected with and who helped me out when I needed them. And I felt obliged to stay close to them when they need me. And every time there's a call out that, hey, Naz, we need, to host something or to get people together from the Afghan community. There's about 4,500 people, Afghan-Australians that live in Queensland alone. Between here and Victoria, there's another 12,000. Sorry, I'm actually wrong. There's 12,000 in Victoria. There's 60,000 Australia-wide that are accounted for. And then there's other mobs that, if you count all of them, count goes over 130,000 people. These 12,000 people that live over here are 12,000 votes. I could do wonders with it if I really wanted to get into it. Entering into politics, you start with a lot of volunteering work, free work, and putting money out of your pocket, which is okay, but for someone that's in the field. I'm not in the field. I was never in the field. I never intended to be in the field. I just started when the regime changed in Afghanistan. I sort of felt the need for it. To raise my voice and help the community. There's a lot of people over here that are connected to people overseas, and they wanted their close ones, their loved ones, to come over here and live a peaceful life. And that's why I sort of interfered. I've initially realized that there's not many people out there. We've got some smart people in the community, but they did not want to be involved in politics, or they did not have the capability. Could be a good engineer or a doctor or anything, but to stand up and talk in front of 100 people, it requires skills. It requires to be that hammer that punches the nail, not just around it.
Yeah.
And I felt that I could do that. It wasn't something that I could do when I was younger, but over the years I realized that I've acquired that skill, and my previous jobs in Australia did help me out a lot with that. So yeah, that's the core of my involvement, to help out the community, use politics to attract help towards the community. It needs it, and it needs a voice. It needs someone to stand up and talk on behalf of someone that is linguistically challenged, culturally challenged, broadly talking. People that come over here, the intention is to, and mainly the intention is to create a life for the kids that they did not have, their parents could not give them overseas. And that's the main purpose. You see a lot of people come to, the West. It's to create a life, the education, in whatever they've missed on. Like someone my age, I'm 37, 38 years old now. Someone comes from overseas with 2 or 3 kids. They're not, the genuine intention is to come over here and provide education to their kids, provide food for them, there's job opportunities, and that is their contribution back to the community that they're living in as well. Obviously, there's communities I see it as a jungle. You see the good plant and the bad plant. A mushroom that takes you to good places, and a mushroom that could kill you as well. A mushroom that could kill you as well.
Yeah.
And it's general, universal. Every community is the same. Every single community is the same. And we've got good people and bad people in every community. But 90%, I'd say, is people that are genuine, that come over here and they need help, but they don't have that voice. Me, as someone that can communicate with all ranks of the community, I thought that I need to get involved and I need to do something to assist people. That's the core of my involvement. I did get the opportunity to become a candidate and go for a seat, and I just refused it. I said, "Nah, thank you very much." There's politicians, and then there's the makers of the politicians, kingmaker.
The puppeteer behind the scenes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We do have a candidate from the community that I'm actually assisting. She's in the opposition.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Not assisting as actively. I've let her, because I can't be on the picture. I can't take a photo of a leader of one political party and then assist another person that's in the opposition.
Yeah.
I'm more towards helping the community, whichever way it comes.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
So when it comes to things like immigration, where, like, you've obviously immigrated yourself, you're very active in the community around sort of Queensland and Brisbane here. Where do you sit with things like what was the word? Integration, like into like cultural integration, like, because I know there's a lot of Australians that get really upset when people are not, integrating and they're living off in their own thing. You're like, well, if you liked living where you were, why did you come here? Like, I can understand that argument as ball-headed as it can come across, as boorish. Where do you kind of see the line on that? Like, I'm personally, like, I'm all for keep your traditions and whatnot, but if you've come here, you need to assimilate into the way that we live. We're not trying to turn what we have here into what you've left. That's right. Where do you kind of come into that kind of
straightforward?
Space?
Very straightforward. And I think I'm in favor of the people that don't like people that don't integrate into the community. If you've lived overseas and you liked it, and I'm absolutely with you, why come over here then? If you've come over here and you like it over here, why change? It doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to articulate without coming across like you're some kind of racist, or you're super without being sensitive to and doing it in a polite way.
Political correct.
Yeah. Which is fuck. Don't even get me started on political correctness.
Look, there's weakness amongst people. A lot of people will call it political correctness. A lot of people will throw cards at you, religious cards and cultural cards and linguistic cards and stuff, just to benefit themselves. That's just weak people. Stronger people from any community will not do that. Unfortunately, what I've discovered in my own personal, I wouldn't call it research, but I observe why people do that. Uh, there's instances where you see people that will go into a troubled situation, and because they can't explain themselves, they will just, it's easy for them to throw a card.
Yeah.
Just throw a Muslim,
Yeah.
or can't speak no English, you know. And I'm a non-English speaking background myself. I'm still, even right now, I would use 3 words instead of 1 word because I'm struggling with vocabulary. But I'm not, I'll this is my way of communicating. I'll live with it. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. But there's a lot of people that are weak. They will throw those cards. However, if I come to putting my opinion, 90% of the people, in my personal opinion, that come to this country or any other Western country from wherever they lived in the past, they actually like to integrate. There's certain things that they would not budge. Religion, they will just keep that. However, when you come over here, you go to a church, a synagogue, or a mosque, or a Buddhist temple, wherever you go, you enter at any day, any time, you'll hear one thing: good. The preaching will be about good things. So they will all say it's all in one category. Okay, religion, put it on one side. Culture. What is culture? To me, it's a way of life. Culture is a way of life. Every culture has positive points and negative points. I'll actually bring you a good example over here. A lot of Muslim people, when they go to a courtroom, they don't like to bow down. We only bow down in front of God. Okay, fair enough. From my culture, when we see our older people, we kiss their hands as a show of respect. That's culture. But religiously, it is inappropriate. The entire thing, you don't kiss people's hand, because you now compare them between a human with God. There's something, there's a contradiction or opposing situation within our own culture, for example. Okay, so if you're not bowing down because religiously it's going to affect you, then why do you kiss your older person's hand, old man or old woman's hand? Both are equal. It's in one category. There is the wrong in the culture.
Yeah.
It's the ignorance of people, unfortunately, that does not allow them to integrate into the community the right way. It requires a couple of generations, more education, and a lot of patience from the existing people to bring them to a level.
Yeah.
That would require time. That's what we see in everyday's life right now. That's what my personal opinion is. That it will take time. If you see people that have lived here for 2 or 3 generations, they don't have this problem. This problem is eliminated. It is integrated well. It's mostly the people that have been here for 4, 5, 10 years, and they're still struggling. There's other problem with it as well. Someone that comes to this country in their 30s, for example, they've got 2 kids that are 5 years old, 10 years old, whatever, 2 years old. There is a interfamily, is that a word?
Interfamily? We can make it a word. Interfamily.
There's an interfamily problem that exists. And I'll explain this.
Yeah.
The person that came from overseas, half of his head is staying over there with the cultures and everything that it will never ever be able to integrate, because it's human body.
Yeah.
Whatever you've learned when you were a child, it'll come with you on this side,
Yep.
But you can't mix it. Habits. I won't call it culture, I won't call it religion, I'll call it habits. Those habits will stay with you. Your kids that are growing up over here will see you half. You're half that you're trying to hold on to that culture, and then the other half that is integrating into the new community that you're in. You've confused your kids. You've just confused the fuck out of your kids, because they don't know their kids. They don't know which side of you they should pick on.
Mm.
There's only a handful of people that come from overseas. They understand that this problem exists and it exists with themselves, and they need to help their kids to overcome that problem. But unfortunately, there's lack of education. So integration is something that is very, very hard for the newcomers. And it requires a lot of patience from people that are living in this country to understand that. However, it's not something that is impossible. It takes a few generations to overcome that problem, and a lot of resources from the government as well. The way I see it, if the government is incapable of to provide that sort of room to accommodate for these cultural changes and to train people, to teach people, to help them integrate into the community, then they should stop immigration altogether.
Mm.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, interesting. It's a very interesting. Like it's really interesting to hear it from somebody who has immigrated,
Yeah.
because I've obviously got no
Mi-
experience in some of the
migrated.
things. Migrated.
There's
Sorry.
difference between immigration
What's the
and
difference?
migration. Immigration is when you've got no choice, no choice at all. You have to immigrate.
Isn't that asylum? Wouldn't that be asylum
There
seeking?
will be asylum seeking. That's immigration. Migration is you do have a choice to stay in your country, but you decide to come over here.
Okay, right. I didn't know that. There you go. We are learning, team.
Immigration, migration, asylum seeking,
Yeah.
refugee. It's all different titles.
Mm.
Everyone has different titles. So I've actually migrated because I did not come. It was my choice
Yeah.
between myself and my wife to decide which way do we stay over there. Do we come over here?
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
good choice. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. Given the recent events, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
So where do you guys? So this is going to be a more religious question, I suppose. Where does things like Sharia law come into it?
what is Sharia law to you?
Well, I don't know. I know it's from an outsider's perspective. I know it's very oppressive, and you've got like religious police and stuff like that. But I obviously don't know the ins and outs of it. I know that from what I understand, it takes a lot of the rights away from women and girls and whatnot, which obviously is not great. But like, where does that start to come in? Is that more of an extremist view, or is that sort of a generalized
No.
Islamic thing?
They made it look something that they could use for the media and for the politics. I'm living a Sharia law life right now. I'm not doing anything wrong. However, I'm here sitting with you.
Yeah.
Sharia law is a way of life. There is nothing extreme about it. To go to the cause of Sharia law, it's basically you living your life in a way that does not harm or affect anyone else in a bad way.
Okay.
You preach the good only. Now, I'm not a sheikh or anything like that to give you the particulars, but I'm telling you what my father told me, my parents, my mum, well, my uncles, my aunties, and everyone. So, a lot of people. This is something that I try to explain to a lot of people. What you hear on news in these particular words that they use, they think that they could use, and they go into particulars. That they take things out of perspective. The what's the word? There's say there's a puzzle. Okay, out of the puzzle, if you take one piece, the puzzle don't make sense anymore.
Yeah, I don't know the word you're talking about, but I understand the concept you're saying. Yeah.
Trying to come up with concept.
Yeah.
The concept.
Yeah.
How I interpret it compared to how you interpret it is two very different things. This mic delivers that message to that machine. Okay, this cannot be changed. That's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
However, this handle could move around whichever way you want to move it.
Yeah.
You can move it your way and I can move it my way. That is something that both you and I use this exact same thing, but into a very different way.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back to the question now. Sharia law, if you take it out of context is a word.
Context is the word. There we go.
It comes automatically.
Yeah.
I told you in the beginning,
Yeah.
I've got a problem with wording. Vocabulary. Context.
Yeah.
If you take it out of context, you take a little bit out of it, it does not make sense. It will be a terrifying thing that takes rights out of people. It oppresses people in whatnot. You know, a lot of times when you see people with a scarf on, women, girls,
Yeah.
you go and ask them, stop any of them, any day, and I'll come with you as a witness. You ask them this question, say, has anyone forced you to wear that? Their question will be no. Fuck no. No one can force me. Mate, I'm scared of my wife.
Oh, that's most men.
I'm
to be
saying this
honest.
on the radio, on the camera. I'm not shy. I'm not embarrassed at
Yeah.
all, because this is a universal problem.
But would there not be a social pressure on them from their community though to adopt that?
Not at all. Not even a tiny bit.
So does your wife wear the scarf or the full hijab? Nothing.
No.
No.
I can't make her.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I can't even tell her, hey, put on your scarf. I can't do that. It's not my place to say or do.
Yeah.
It's her decision.
Because I know I'm just going off my experience with
Mate,
Afghanistan.
she made me buy a fucking $100,000 fucking Merc last week. I didn't want to buy that. I couldn't even overcome that, let alone his fucking scarf. Scarf is $2, $5.
Oh,
How can I change that?
Oh.
The Sharia law is they made something out of it. It is
Yeah.
nothing in significant or that's significant that should come on a TV and say, oh, this fucking guy is changing my way of life or this or that. Yes, we do have some ignorant people within the community that would come and say, I want to live a Sharia law. Go stop that person and say, okay, can you talk to me about Sharia law? What the fuck is Sharia law? Explain it to me. And that person that is more vocal about it would not have any clue.
Yeah.
Lack of education again. And we do have that. We do, like any other community. We have that as well. We've got people that are not educated about their own things that they're vocal about. They want to fight for it. And it's like, I was watching a video on Facebook the other day, and this guy was rallying for Trump. And he had 2 shirts. He picks up, it's Biden underneath and Trump on top. Kamala Harris. And I'm like, which one? The guy asked me, which one do you support? He's like, oh, whichever pays more.
Yeah. Yeah, at the grassroots, most people don't care.
Education, knowledge, we've got that.
Yeah.
Truth is that we've got ignorant people. We've got miseducated, wrongly educated people within the community that are either fighting for the Sharia law or whatever they want to fight for. The truth is, Sharia is a discipline, is a way of life that takes you towards success if you follow it 100%. And success in a way not to make you so. If you would follow Sharia law today, it will not make you Muslim.
Okay.
It does not make you Muslim. It does make you a good person. Like I said, if you go to a church right now, what is the only thing that you will hear from a church preacher?
Oh, that fucking
The good things.
6 p.m. probably closed, mate. But yes, the good things.
But say, don't steal, don't lie, don't rape, don't kill. Yeah. You go to a Buddhist temple any time of the day, any time of the week, you hear the same thing. Don't steal, don't rape, don't lie, don't kill. You go to a mosque, the same thing. Don't steal, don't rape, don't kill, don't lie. Stuff. It's exact the same stuff. So are you saying that the question to the people that are asking this question, or this confusion that they have, are they preaching Sharia law in the church?
Well, I don't know. Well, no, not the church. No,
they're not. They just have a different word for it. The law is to become a good man.
Okay.
That is Sharia. Become a good man. However you do it, you do it. This is the easiest way of explaining it. Yes, when you go into particulars, yes, there is. I don't see any. And I've read Bible. I've read the Buddhist books. I've sit down with a lot. I've got a lot of atheist friends and all that. Where we sit down and we talk about it. I've read Quran as well. I don't see any religion that is hostile to humanity. It all wants it to be. All religion want the humanity to be a good, on a good path and all that. All religions equally have parts. If you go into particulars to them, they will talk about violence and this and that as well. But that's all religions.
Mm.
But when you take things out of context,
Yeah.
that's where you create problems. And they've used this against us when they wanted to us to go, for example, to go into war against Taliban or any regime. They'll start taking things out of context ease before that, so that we start preparing our brains for that. So by the time we get there, we've got enough hate over here, so we can fucking kill that person or
Yeah.
shoot that person. That's how it works. Technically, between me and you, I can live with you in one house for 10 years, 15 years. We will argue about why did you put this over here.
Yeah.
That is our Sharia law, because our Sharia law was, hey, when you pick up this over here, make sure you put it back in the fridge. That is it. If you follow that rule, you're okay. Otherwise, guess what? We can't live in the same house. And you take that apart. You can follow your religion, your culture, whatever you want to follow. And I'll follow my culture, my religion, and everything that I want to follow. And we can still live in the same house, and there will be no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
The entire world. The entire world will have no problems. It's the middle class people, me and you, and everyone else that's around us will have no problem whatsoever if you put things back into the context and, read it, understand it, follow it as a whole. But context, that it's political. It's political. It's for media.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, the media stirs everything up. They sensationalize everything. It doesn't even have to be true. They just want to put it out because it gets clicks.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
Yeah.
clicks.
It's all
today's
clickbait.
life.
Yeah,
But other than that, honestly, there's nothing.
Well, I asked because
I'm glad you asked.
my experience
Yes.
with the
I'm glad you asked. Yes.
the Afghan ladies in Uruzgan, and I understand it may be different province to province. Kabul may be much more sort of modern than Uruzgan was. I remember one of our interpreters telling us that Uruzgan was very much sort of the ghetto. It was like the backwaters of Afghanistan. It's not the mainstream.
Now, I was talking about Australia and Sharia law. If you want to take me over there, I'll give you something that'll shock you probably.
Yeah, go for it.
We in Afghanistan, out of 100% population, there's probably 2% that understands the religion. 98% just follows culture.
Okay.
Including the Taliban.
Yeah.
They don't know the religion at all. At all. It's so, it is a terrible situation, but it is misused in so many different ways. But genuinely saying, honestly, from my own experience, from my own families, we've got people right now within our own immediate families, and extended families, and friends that are fighting till this day, trying to get schools opened for women, because the new regime has stopped school after grade 6 for girls. Now, if I told you that there is no part in, there's nothing in religion, any book, any religious Islamic book that states that women should not study, that does not exist. So you tell me if Taliban are following the religion or not.
Yeah, well, that's sort of where it comes from. So when I think Sharia law, I'm not thinking Australians. I think more of like England. Like I know there's entire suburbs over there. I've been told that the police don't even go into anymore because they're like, as soon as we go in there, we get attacked. Like it's just the Islamic population over there. They're running it their own fucking show, and they're running under sort of a Taliban-like regime within their little suburb. But then I look back to my own experience in Uruzgan. All of the women were in the hijab unless they were, I think it was up to like 5 or something. They're allowed to.
6-year-olds.
Like they were would not let anyone see their face outside of their husband, which, whatever. But I remember doing security at the girls and like the children's and the women's hospital. And we only sent the female doctors in, and there was like a playground outside. I remember being stuck there. Like, we have to send someone in security, turns, go stand over there and sit in the playground. So the kids are all fucking around doing whatever. And the women would come out without the hijab on, see me immediately.
Run away.
No, just like Batman, the fucking cape up. But then they'd like look around and see that there was no Afghani men around.
Yeah.
It was just me, some random Westerner.
Yeah.
And suddenly they didn't care. They were like, oh, I'll take it off.
That's not religion. That's culture.
Yeah, okay, right. Well, yeah, as a white boy, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know, I'm a 21-year-old
I'm
dude
glad
over there with a
we're
machine
talking
gun.
about this.
Yeah.
There's so misconception about this. So there's so so much confusion about this particular thing. There is culture and there's religion. The cultural side of Afghanistan, unfortunately, it is a man-made world, and it's not for women.
Mm.
And that's how they've done it for over the centuries. And we're trying to battle. This is something that exists within that country. I don't know if it's the same for other countries or not, but I have within people that I deal with community, and I said that culturally they don't want to take their woman to a male doctor. Okay, very cool. That's your culture. All right, that's my culture. Fair enough. Then you also don't let your wife, your girl, your daughter, your wife to go to school, educate.
So
How
we
does
can
that
get
work?
female doctors.
Thank you.
Yeah,
How does that work?
yeah.
Usually the answer goes into a violent, fuck you, don't talk about me, this and that. You know? That's weakness when you start getting loud because they don't have that knowledge that, oh shit, I did not think that far. That female doctor that my wife goes to, or my daughter goes to, is someone's daughter, someone's wife, someone's mother. But she went to school, she educated, she became a doctor. This has nothing to do with the religion. It is culture. Unfortunately, the culture is so old. In Afghanistan, the 50 years of war has not allowed people to educate at all. And when you keep 5 generations away from education, you will find stuff like that. And it's not just Afghanistan, wherever you go in the world. If you keep 5 generations away from education, you will have problems like that. People will create their own ways, their own methods, their own styles of life, and they'll turn that into a culture. So at the moment, unfortunately, the culture is pretty fucked. And that's affected the religious views. It's also affected the way of life for so many people, and it has become a belief now.
Yeah.
That belief is incorrect. It'll take another 5 to 10, probably 50 generations. I've got reasons for that. If this was glass, it's manufactured in a factory. It takes literally, a minute to go through the machine. You break it, it takes another second, bang, broken. But to fix it back the way it was originally, you can never do that. If you do that, it will take you a month compared to a second. So whatever we've lost in that country in the last 5 decades, 50 years, it will take another 150 years to repair. Somewhat presentable.
Yeah.
That's what you see, unfortunately, with that. And as far as these other people that come over here and they start, in England, and as you mentioned as well, I am aware of that as well.
Yeah.
That there's suburbs that cops can't even go in, but there's a second view on that as well. There is mafia, there is gangs out there.
Oh, absolutely.
They front this religious view in front of you. Oh, religious, let's hide behind this and do whatever we want to do, and they do that. There is a lot of stuff that's happening in the background. The thing I was actually talking about before, church in Senegal and temple and mosque and all that, they only preach the good stuff. None of them teach the bad. Yeah. It opens room for every crook in the society to misuse that.
How do you mean?
Okay, so you've got me and you were preached in a church. I was preached in a mosque. We only know the good because that's what we were taught from a very young age to do the good. we've got our brains do not work with the bad at all. That there's bad exists in the world, this that. But there's a third person over here that knows that this fucker only thinks about good. Let's use them so I can do my bad stuff. He will, come and join us. He'll show us a religious person, but he's got a different agenda. So when the cops come, because he's more than your friend, we will defend him. Because in the back of our head, he will tell us that, hey, remember that sheikh or that father said this and this and this, defend your people and this and that. I'm your person. So me and you will defend him because we think he's one of us, but in the back, that fucker is actually, doing his own thing. There is a lot of that naiveness of people.
Yeah.
It does have more, I'd say, political side to it, but it is being misused. Religion has been misused. The name of the religion has been misused for centuries, for a very long time, unfortunately, and that is the truth. Other than that, culture is to be blamed a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we've got good stuff and bad stuff in all the cultures. Religions, to me, it's more of a good thing. Makes you sane.
Yeah. It's definitely good for people to have, if it's religion, they need a moral compass, something that points them in the right way.
Yeah.
But I had this conversation with another mutual friend of ours, Fred, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Ogati.
Yeah. And he brought up the point of ethics. He's like, what is ethical? Do you think there's like a defining ethics of things? And my view was that there is sort of an objective thing. Don't murder. Objectively, we can all look at that and we can say that's wrong. But then you look at something like don't steal, and you and I can sit there and go, yeah, absolutely, it's wrong. Don't steal people's shit. But if you've grown up in like a really poor area where people were stealing to get by, that's probably one of those things that it's just nobody around you has gone, no, it's bad, but we're still going to do it. They've never even pointed out that it's bad. So you're just like, oh, well, I just steal because you've got it and I want it and I don't have it and I need it. So it's mine now. Yeah. That becomes subjective on that.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Again, I'm straightforward. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You can't turn that into right.
Yeah.
It's wrong. Simple as that. Just because you've been doing it for 50 years doesn't make it right.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. There's unfortunately a lot, and I'm the bad cop in the community as well. As to certain people, I'm a good cop. To certain, I'm bad, and I'm bad because.
What do you mean bad cop?
Because I pick on this stuff. If there's something wrong in me, I'll raise my hand and say, hey, I fucking have this problem. Okay, I'm trying to fix it. But there's a lot of people that will do the wrong, but just because their father and grandfather and forefathers did it, he thinks it's right. Or she thinks it's right. That's, to me, that's incorrect. You got to evolve. If you can't evolve, you're not human. You're an animal.
Interesting.
Animals can't evolve.
Yeah.
Actually, they do physically.
Yeah.
But not mentally.
Yeah.
But humans can't evolve physically. They can do mentally. Yeah.
True.
If you don't develop your brains to work as per, the society, you're not any different to an animal, are you?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you make a good point.
Yeah, that's how I see it. So I don't care if I've got a 5,000 years history. If I'm doing something wrong, I'm doing it wrong. I gotta fucking correct it. I'm not saying for people to change their culture and their religion, their way of life, and this and that or whatever. But it comes back to that original, the previous question that you asked, that integration. Whatever your forefathers did, they did it. If it was right, it may have been right for that community that you lived over there. Now you've come over here, it does not work. You evolve, you integrate, and you work your life according to here. I'm not saying that, change everything, but make it livable. Make it acceptable to your standards and to the standards of your neighbor as well. That's how I see it. It's not hard. It's not rocket science.
No, it's definitely not rocket science.
No one's asking anyone to change religion. I went. Today's Friday. Every Friday I go to the mosque.
Yeah.
I came from mosque straight to here.
Yeah.
No one stopped me. No one told me, "Hey, why are you going to a mosque?" No one said, "Why are you going to pray?" I did all of that, and I'm still living over here. No one's stopping me from what I'm doing over there. But that should not stop me from coming over here to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, should balance it.
Yeah.
Or banged it again.
It's all right. Yeah. I just have to buy a new one now. Nah, it's fine.
Balance it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's not, there's no rocket science, but like I said, education, time, and if the government isn't unable to fucking accommodate for educating these new people, they should stop immigration altogether. If they can't do that, if they don't want to do that, and they see the need for more people in this country, in which we do have the need for it, the population needs to grow. For that, they have to bring people from overseas, which is also a need for this country, for Australia. Then they should have a budget for it to accommodate for the integration of the new people. The balance is incorrect. All in general, the balance is inappropriate for our population. Yeah. Other than that, that's my views are pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I like that. I like clean cut though. I'm a big fan of just being straight down the line. I'm just saying how it is.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I mean, look, there's always going to be grey areas in life, but as much as you can, I try and make things sort of.
It's actually timely for me to mention. There is problems from both sides as well. Yeah, like yes, there is people from different cultures that come over here, and they try to bring their culture over here.
Yeah.
When I first came to Australia, within the first 3 or 4 years, I had my first opportunity to work for corrections. And I said that I'm not going to work, I'm not going to talk about it, but this is interesting.
Yeah.
I did my first job was as a corrections officer. I was at Barwon Prison in Victoria.
Okay.
And this place, this facility hosts some of your top criminals from the country, including some terrorists.
Yeah, yeah.
I was the first ever Muslim to work at this facility as an officer.
Really?
Yes.
How did that come about?
And it's got about 70. I don't know how long the history is, but it's got a long history. This jail, and I'm the first ever Muslim that has ever worked at this facility as an officer.
Interesting. How was that?
Well, they've never recruited. No one applied for
Not
it.
since.
Anyways. Not since.
They were one and done. They were like, nah, we let him in. Nah, no more.
The black sheep. The black sheep.
Yeah.
The black sheep. Obviously, I've always wanted to do something for the community and you put a uniform and all that. I didn't see myself being able to go back to the army or police or anything. So corrections was an option. Border force was another option, but corrections they hired me out. It was a 6 months process. Anyways, when I first started working, it was so hard for me to gain trust. Actually, I couldn't. I was unable to acquire trust from my fellow officers. Till this day, I've not like my squad members, the people that I work with, and I started working with the team 2017. Out of them, I've got a couple people that I'm actively in contact with.
Yeah.
I've got at least another 4 or 5 that I'm Facebook friends with, but majority we stopped talking. While at that center, for me it was extremely hard to gain trust because, unfortunately, majority of the people that were titled terrorists, they were of the same religious background as I was.
Yeah, there is that old saying which. I apologize if it's offensive.
Nothing is offensive.
Yeah, good. I like that.
I got no
because it's not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists seem to be Muslims.
Yeah, yes.
There is that old adage, which people run with for sure.
That's right. And that was exactly what's happening. They looked at me like, all right, fucking 30, 40, 50 or 60 years, whatever the history of that jail was, not a single Muslim came as an officer. Now that we've got Muslim terrorists, why the fuck do we have a Muslim officer? They looked at it that way. And I'm like, cunts. excuse my language.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You can swear. That's all good.
If I put on this fucking uniform, I'm here to work alongside you.
Mm.
I'm here to work alongside you. Stop doubting me.
Well, I think that would also come from a lack of education about Islam as well.
Yes.
Because they would look and they would think, like I come from a Christian background. It's not necessarily like every Christian out there, we should help. Like immediately, like just because you believe the same thing, I'll help you out of your spot of bother there, champion. I mean, you should be trying to help everyone, but it's not like that where I think they look at it like as Islam, we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Like if you're Islamic and I'm Islamic, it doesn't matter that I'm on this side of the fence. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Because we're called to in the same religion.
That's it. It does not work like that.
No.
Seriously. We've got, it's the exact same thing that's in the society over here. It happens amongst us as well. There could be a Muslim that's a thief. I'm not going to go make friends with him because he's a fucking thief. Or a murderer or a killer or a rapist. It's a society. Remember the good mushroom and the mushroom?
We like the good mushrooms.
We've got, and not all mushrooms are good mushrooms. So, yes, we don't make friends with all mushrooms. Only some mushrooms. Anyways, it was extremely difficult for me to sort of integrate into that. I was integrated, but the people around me could not integrate with me because I was the only Muslim. Why does he, why is he here? Is he trying to help out? And mind you, it was my first ever fucking station that they put me, the unit that they put me in. It was the same unit where Carl Williams was murdered.
Okay. I don't even know who Carl Williams is, mate. To be
Right,
honest with you.
Google it after this.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't keep track of any of the prisoners' names. Not a clue.
Carl Williams was a gangster. Was top at the time. It was one of the top crims of the state.
Yeah.
Actually maybe the entire country.
Yeah, right.
And he was murdered inside a jail gymnasium.
Yeah, right.
In a jail unit that only hosted 16 prisoners.
Yeah.
And each one had their own cell, and no two prisoners were allowed to go to the gym together.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's okay. So we had, we've got max security.
Yeah.
Low.
Yep.
This was Supermax facility. It's a Supermax facility. Now, Supermax facility, trust me, we used to open up a cell, and I'm going to give you a small brief about this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Have 23 hours inside the cell, 1 hour outside.
Yeah.
And for that 1 hour, every morning we'd go in, we'd do a cell search, check the intercoms, ask for their laundry needs, their food needs, their phone needs, their doctor needs. That happens from shut doors.
Yeah.
Not all of it, cell searches were you'd open up the door. So what they had the little what's
hatch.
The hatch.
Yeah.
They put their hands through the hatch.
Yeah.
Put handcuffs. Second person, there's like 4 or 5 people crew.
Yeah.
You put baton in, you pull them against the door. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you check, make sure that they're secured against the door. Second person opens the door, and one person with a shield with a head mask. You open the door. The second person goes and puts the shield right on their knees because they're kneeling down here.
Yeah,
Squeeze
so they
them.
can't stand up.
Push them against the thing. You put the what's that? That spit mask.
Spit hood. Yeah.
The spit hood. You put that. They're wearing a spit hood while you take the notes. And there's one person or 2 people go and check the intercom, search the cell and everything. So that's the sort of prison I'm talking about.
Yeah, so like DU conditions or MSU. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
detention
beyond.
Unit or maximum security unit for those playing at home.
DU.
Yeah.
What DU?
Yeah.
Detention unit. He's right.
Yeah.
This was actually beyond that. Supermax is crazy when you go into. I did 12 months over there. Back to that original subject, I personally struggled. I was picked on my beard, so over there we had to be clean shaved because the mask, the respirators that we had to put on could only go on shaved face, and you had to shave every single day. And so there was non-Muslim people with beards. It was okay, but for me, I had to shave my beard. Yeah.
With the other people in positions where they say they wear respirators?
Yes, exact same.
So what the-
Exact same. Yes, but because they wanted to test whether he would shave his beard,
Yeah.
for this job, or would he keep the beard because he's a Muslim. I was tested to certain levels, but what they did not understand that the beard is not. Muslims don't have to have a beard to be a Muslim.
Yeah, right.
You can be clean shaved Muslim.
But so many Muslims do have beards, though.
It's something that will it's like a merit based.
Yeah.
If you have it, you
Yeah.
get more reward. If you don't have it, doesn't really matter.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It does not make you non-Muslim. It does not make you Muslim.
Yeah.
You can have a beard this big and you could be a rapist.
Yeah.
You could be clean shaved. You could be the best Muslim.
Yeah.
Just like any other culture or religion or background, or you fucking name it. It's the same for everyone. It's just these fucking bullshit that they brought up with. Oh, it does not make sense at all. It does not make sense, seriously. So it's both ways.
Yeah.
The education, we're not saying that if the governments can't afford to bring immigrants or immigrants into the country, or refugees or asylum seekers, and they don't have a proper budget for it. And proper budget does not mean that only invest into the newcomers. It is also investment into the people that live in the country, both ways, equally. Then they should stop that. Full stop. They're creating a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Oh, mate, they could siphon some of this foreign aid we send money to other countries for, and they could probably use it here.
Easy to,
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah. How did you find Victorian prisons? Was it more violent than we have here in Queensland, or is it harder, softer?
So I did Supermax facility over there.
Yeah.
And then from there I came to, what is that, maximum security? Maybe
What, here?
the Berlin one? High security.
High security.
It's not even maximum. So
No.
2 levels up.
Yeah.
Over there, we could not have. Actually, there was maximum security units as well, where Tony Burke and all that resided.
Yeah.
And we could walk around crims, but I was appointed at Supermax cells or units, and over there we did not have the luxury of having a unit for 2 officers and 30 crims. The first time I walked into Berlin over here in Queensland, and I'm walking around crims, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was never exposed to crims.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 crim, 1 door, 6 officers. From that to having 2 officers and 30 crims in a unit was a big change for me.
Yeah.
But having that said, I know other officers that have worked in Victoria who's worked in low security or medium security or high security. I think it's pretty similar. The only difference, the biggest difference that I know over there, majority of the prisons are actually private owned, private run, not owned, private run. Over here, everything is government.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's gone that way.
Yeah.
There used to be some privates.
That's right. Yeah, but they've got all government over there. It's gone the other way around. Everything is getting privatized, including the jails. So that was the biggest difference, I reckon.
Yeah. So why the move then from Victoria up to Queensland?
Good question. Yeah. Very good question.
I'm good at questions.
That takes me towards my entrepreneurship, but I've got a good gut feeling.
Got a good gut feeling.
Very good gut feeling. If I have a gut feeling about something, 9 out of 10, I'm correct. 9 out of 10 times, I am correct. Am I talking too fast?
No, not at all.
So I'm eating words. If I've got a gut feeling about something, 9 out of 10 times, I'm not cocky. I'm just confident. I'm right about it. I first 5 years of my time in Victoria, I realized that I've wasted so much. I tried so many different things and whatnot, and all of that was a waste in one way. But I gained experience out of it. Was the second thing. At one stage, I realized that Victoria was overpopulated. The housing prices was too high. I could not buy. I did not see myself being able to buy a property.
Oh, mate.
Or
it's going the same now.
Yeah. Or grow a business. I put all states together. I thought about New South Wales. Same story.
Yeah.
Then I had the options of Western Australia, Perth,
Yep.
Adelaide, well,
Radelaide, some might call it.
Adelaide, or Queensland. I had these
Yeah.
3 options. Now, I came to Gold Coast for my honeymoon when I got married, and I fucking loved it. There was summertime. Well, it was beginning of summertime. You know, you had those little bikes with the
Yeah.
lights and everything.
Yeah.
And we were staying at the Chateau on the Cavell Avenue.
Nice.
And the entire night there was good vibes and music and water. You could hear the water and everything. And I turned to my wife and I said, "You know what? I love this place. I want to move over here." It never happened at the time.
Yeah.
A few years later, when I did my evaluation of where I can see myself developing and growing a business and a house and a family and all that, and I've lived in in Perth, Sydney, Canberra, Victoria, short bursts of time, and I thought Queensland was the best option. And at the time, I made that evaluation that this state is going to grow. Out of Adelaide, Perth, and Queensland, the third city that's going to grow after Sydney and Melbourne would be Queensland. I made that call, and guess what? I was right.
Yeah, it's fucking booming.
It is fucking booming right now.
Yeah, my mortgage broker called me today. I just settled on a house, and he was like, "Oh, the median price at the moment in Brisbane for a house is 950,000." And he said by the end of the year they're expecting it to be over $1 million.
Yes.
Like, how are people supposed to buy houses in this? Really, it's fucking phenomenal. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, in Victoria, in western suburbs, Deer Park is quite famous, but we used to live around Deer Park area. House prices were 500, 400, and everyone used to say, "Oh, fucking too expensive." And
Yeah, and now they're at 1.2, 1.3.
minimum.
Yeah,
Minimum.
it's fucked.
Minimum.
Yep.
I saw that same thing over here about 3 years ago. And I told everyone, "Guys, buy your property right now."
Yeah,
Buy
it's
a
going to be
property.
massive.
I could not afford it myself because I had fucking struggled with business and everything.
Yeah.
But I suggested it to everyone. And everyone that took my suggestion today, they've made at least $500,000.
Yeah, they're
just
doing
from their
well.
property.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's going to grow even more. The Olympics will have a huge impact, I reckon.
Oh, it will. Absolutely.
Well, look,
Billions of dollars of revenue coming in.
Yeah. And being in construction myself now, I see this industry, although it's struggling, but will continue to boom for another 5 years at least. Like, remember, the actual construction or infrastructure for Olympics starts 7 years prior to Olympics, and it's just about to start.
Yeah.
It hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, it's going to fucking boom.
But the difference between 3 years ago and now is about $500,000 made. It's in certain areas, it's probably 700 or $1 million more. But $500,000, anyone bought a property 3 years ago, $500,000.
So people,
A lot of.
But then at the same time, you sell that property off, you're going to have to buy back into the market that's going up.
Oh. You buy it over here, you go 10 kilometers far back, buy something cheaper. Because by the time you're ready to sell that, we'll have the same prices that you have over here. You will not lose.
There you go. It's not bad.
By the time you sell that, the prices over here will drop down a little bit, close to the city. You can come back over here with more money in your pocket and savings as well. So you buy one over here, you go one step back, you sell that, go one step back, sell that, go one step back, and then come back to the fourth with enough money to buy this property and have another half of the or equal amount of that property in your pocket as well. So you do save money.
Interesting. I know not much about property.
Neither do I. But you figure it out. It's fucking easy. Right now you can find big lands.
Yeah.
Buy a big land, sit on it.
Yeah.
Just sit on it for 2 years, 3 years if you can.
So after having spent so long in Afghanistan, involved in the conflict over there, how have you dealt with things mentally since then? Like I assume yourself, like me, and pretty much anyone else who's been outside the wire, we've got PTSD
We all do.
of varying degrees.
Yes.
You know, some of my mates are way more fucked than I am, and I imagine some people are way more fucked than you are. How do you deal with it?
We ignore it. We've just we the 80s kids. We are the most fucked up generation, I reckon, in my opinion.
I'm a 90s kid.
You're a fucking child.
1990, baby.
You're a fucking child. I'm 86, not too far away from you. Actually, I am fucking 15 years. Fuck, I'm old.
That's four. That's fucking 4
No,
years.
it's not 1990.
Yeah, 1990 to 1986 is 4 years.
4 years. Fuck, I thought it was 15 years. Okay. No, I'm not. Okay.
Fucking hell, mate. How much tea have you had?
Green tea. Green tea.
Yeah. How have you dealt with
I
it?
ignore it. I genuinely saying I just fucking ignore it. Not the right way of dealing with it. But I believe that mental issues, okay, millennials, just cover your ears because you don't want to hear this. You'll hate me. You'll hate me because you're soft as fucking cotton. Excuse my word. Anyways, we ignore it. There is no fucking time for PTSD or emotions or softness at all. Mental problems, psychological problems, PTSD, and everything along those lines. And I'm saying this to all the men out there. If you can talk to people, talk to people. If you know your way of dealing with things, deal with it your way. Don't listen to me. This is my own personal way of dealing with it. I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I am wrong. I am right. I don't know. But this is what I do. I'm looking at you in the eyes. You deal with it your way. If you think I'm talking nonsense, don't listen to me. It's a serious problem. I have lost friends to it. I fucking hate them. Just don't listen to me if you think I'm inappropriate to you. Mental problems, psychological problems, PTSD, and everything that you create in your head is capable of ignoring it, putting it aside, overcoming it, and restoring your personal stuff, your personal head, your personal body, your personality. You can restore it. You don't need anyone at all. You need yourself, your head. You talk to yourself, you overcome problems. It is you, the problem. Whatever you had in the past, whatever you've seen in the past. I've collected human body parts in plastic bags. I've done that. I've been bombed. I've been bombed in a vehicle that I was sitting down, and I've seen people run towards me and hold a grenade. They fucked themselves up. They didn't hurt me. I've seen all of that as well, like you have. You've lost people. I've had a scenario where I had to run to a fellow uniform man. I picked up his head because he was spewing blood off his head, and as soon as I pick up his head, my fingers went right through his skull into his brains, and I feel guilty at some stage, but we were in the middle of nowhere with no medical, no help for at least another 3 or 4 hours, and we were being shot at the same time. So I've seen it. I've seen what you've seen. I've seen shit. I do have nightmares. I do have problems, but I can overcome it myself. My brain, I've trained it to become strong enough to not think about it, to not feel the guilt. And I suggest this to everyone. Your brain is strong enough to overcome any sort of situation. Human body, the body itself, if a disease comes into your body, your blood cells are trained to start fighting that straight away. You have a small cut somewhere, your body is trained and knows it's designed the way to heal this. You heal your wounds, whether it's visible or invisible. You heal it yourself the way you can do it. Suicide is not the way. That is fucking coward. That is fucking coward. You don't go that way. Those that are gone, they're gone. But you're alive today. You're awake. You're looking me at my face. I'm looking you right in your eyes. And I'm telling you, you can overcome this. You're strong enough. You're powerful. Your body is capable of doing that. You are capable of doing that. Don't be that weak cunt. Don't be that. So that's me.
But if you wall it off for too long, at some stage it's going to come out.
It does. I did a factory job, trips in Victoria, and one stage it gets loud. I was doing night shifts, and I had 3 or 4 jobs at the same time. I'd go between one job to another job, and sometimes I'd just take 10, 15 minutes, break at a servo, close my eyes, power nap, and go to the next job. At one stage, one particular day, machine broke down, so I went from the top, come down over here, and I heard the other machine over here, and this machine, because it was stopped, it was making too much noise, and I heard a couple of guys yelling and screaming, "Oh, hey, come this way, that way," whatever they were saying. It felt like a fucking war zone. I did not know, but I figured out there was someone coming over my top, over my shoulder, and it was shaking me. Hey, you okay? I was literally hiding behind a fucking thing, holding like this, looking around. What's happening? That's PTSD, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It does come to you. It does. You can't hide away from it. But if you, in my opinion, if you train yourself to ignore it in a way that you tell your PTSD and your thoughts and your beliefs that you are stronger, you are a lot more stronger than any thoughts or any guilt or any feelings that ever comes to you. Your brain is stronger. You're a better person. Having that said, and I'll come to that as well. It does need some support from yourself, from your personality. You're strong enough. Your brain is strong enough to overcome them. But to do this, there's one principle in life that you have to follow. It's helped me out. Be the right person. Be the good person. Be the person that makes the difference for other people. And it does help. I hate lying. I've grown a business off the back of doing the right thing for other people. It gave me growth. It made me an entrepreneur. Different story. But what I did was, my only intention, I had about 30 odd workers, did my first painting contract. I had about 20 or 30 people working for me. I lost a lot of money on it. Shitload of money. I was inexperienced. I did not know what to do. So what I did was, what can I do to not lose these people, make a good life for them, and off the back of that, make a living for myself? So what I did was I created individual groups of 4 or 5, 6 people. I chose 2, 3 or 4 people and said, hey, you, I'll make you a business, you and you. I'll make you guys businesses. Here's my people, 4 to you, 6 to you, 10 to you, whatever. Created businesses for them, started acquiring more contracts, and give those contracts to these people. Did not lose my 30 people. Created at least another 4 or 5 new businesses for people that did not intend or think that they will have their own business. Today they've got their own successful businesses. I'm providing them the contracts. I'm working on getting new contracts. So I did one good thing. I helped people out. Not just these people, within the community as well. I tried to help people out. No lying, no raping, no killing. Only intending to do the good thing, the right thing, by yourself, by your family, by your people around you. Could be randoms, could be strangers. That will make you a lot more stronger as a person. That can defeat any sort of PTSD or any sort of situations that might take you back to where you've come from. And people in uniform are the most less appreciated. You're doing a thankless job. Could be anything. Could be ADF. Could be fire brigade, police, or corrections. It's a very thankless job. And mind you, at least these people in uniform are mentioned. There's people out there that cannot even mention their name because they work for, intelligence societies.
Mm.
They're helping provide that security for the communities that we live in. Their names are not even mentioned. That's even a more thankless job. When you do so much for people around you and you're not thanked, human body, human nature, you feel like you're being neglected by people that you're trying to defend all your life. So it does create this disconnection with the community, but you got to be strong enough to understand that what you've done it for yourself and you've done it for people around you. And that strength is enough to overcome any type of, mental condition, psychological condition, PTSD and all that. A lot of people will probably go to, psychologists, consults, and this and that. I don't believe in that. I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm looking at this camera right now.
That's all right. Look at the camera.
Yeah. Now, because I do believe in the person that's looking at me and he's a person of uniform. I believe in that person. That man, that woman. They're capable. They're strong. They're strong enough to be the odd one in the uniform to stand in the community and protect the community. If you're that strong, you're strong enough to battle your brains as well. So think about it. You can do it.
I agree to a degree. I agree that the people are strong enough to overcome it themselves and to do that. But like when we go to war, we don't go by ourselves with a rifle. You go out with the boys. You go out. There's support elements to that.
Yes.
People like psychologists, your other fucking friends, your boys, whatever. They're there as a support element. They supported you over there. They're going to support you now. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to bottle it all up. I understand that we do, and it's very hard to unburden yourself a little bit. But maybe not everyone is as strong as you individually, Naz.
Yeah.
Not everyone has
totally
got
agree.
the mental.
That's why in the beginning I did say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take
absolutely.
me or leave me. It's totally up to you.
Absolutely.
But there is what I'm trying to probably say is find your way.
Yeah.
Of battling it. My way was to help out people, help out community, and that's made me even stronger. For you, for another person, maybe another me, will be different. What I'm trying to say is you in your head is strong enough to find the way.
Everyone is capable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
But
that's a better way.
Yeah.
Everyone's capable to overcome it their way. Just stay away from that one coward thing.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. Absolutely seek help. If you're in a position where you need help, seek help.
Yes.
Don't run it alone.
Yes.
Just for the sake of running alone and being a tough cunt. Don't do that.
Yeah. I'm crazy. You don't be that crazy person. I'm fucking crazy. I'm being upfront of things that I've done. Sometimes I doubt myself. Maybe I'm an alien.
I don't think you're an alien, mate.
No, but look, genuinely saying, I've been told in the past as well the way I when I become emotional on certain things, I just say whatever. But I don't mean to say that battle alone. Yes, there's ways out there. There's people that stood right beside you to take a bullet for you. The same people that will stand right next to you and say, "Hey, I'm here for you. Come and have a conversation." I'll actually raise my hand any day of the week. I'll leave anything that I have for the sake of having a conversation with someone that might help them. I'm always there, and I'm pretty sure you're the same. No,
Yeah.
I'm blessed to say that the people that I know, any of them, any day of the week will take their time to say, "Hey, I'm available. Come and have a chat with me. Come, come for some green tea."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but we are strong enough to come with ways that we can help ourselves.
Yes.
And get away from,
Yeah. I think maybe if I'm understanding what you're trying to say, probably a little bit more eloquently.
Yes, please.
Is that the individual, you are capable. You if you were strong enough to do these things previously, you are strong enough to overcome it. You've got the capability, even if it means that you need to get some help to get you there. Internally, you've got the strength to do it. You need to trust that you do that. You need to take the steps required to get you to that. If that means getting help, that's fine. But not to look at everyone else as this is the one set way that we get through this. We have to do X, Y, and Z because every person's different. You need a different recipe for every cake.
Absolutely. And there's no set ways.
Yeah.
There's literally no set ways. Once it will help you to talk to someone, the next time it's probably helpful to just sit by yourself by the water and say, yeah, I can do it. The next time it might be different. So for the same individual, it may be 3 different ways on 3 different occasions. So it is about convincing yourself that the coward way is not the way to get out of it. There's better ways. We've all done. Look, there's the one thing that I know that gets a lot of people is the guilt. Did I do the right thing? Unfortunately, when you hold a gun on your shoulder, it comes with responsibilities, and the spur of the moment is the person that's standing next to you is defending that person's life as well as your life. It comes down to that. Whatever you've done, right or wrong, it was that moment to judge it, not now. Now is past. Now is the past, and in the past, you don't judge. Whatever you've done, even the pastor.
Yeah.
Is that the right way of saying it?
back.
Further out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can't judge that. Then you made the decision. You must have done the right thing.
Did the best you could at the time with the information available.
Exactly.
Information available to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how we see it. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I've done probably a fucking million things that were wrong.
Oh, mate, I think all of us have.
Yeah.
But
No one perfect, eh?
as long as we learn and we grow,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all we can ask for.
Yeah. None of us are perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
aim to be good, not perfect. You can never be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my view on PTSD and being in uniform. And I think everyone will face it one day. They will come to it. It's a disease that does not leave you. It comes with you, stays with you for the rest of your life, and you just make sure that you find the right way that suits you to take you away from it.
Yeah. I reckon that's probably a pretty good place to wrap this up, dude.
Yeah. Mate, this was good. This last bit was so deep, and I love that.
That's what I like. That's what I want to get to, the deep stuff. It's good. No, dude, much appreciated for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you're absolutely flat out. It's been great to catch up and chat to you about your life, man, and everything you've been through.
This is just the beginning, and I do want to mention this prior to me, saying goodbye.
Yeah, go ahead.
As an entrepreneur, and this is, you can cut it out if you want to.
No,
I don't want to.
It'll be staying in there. It's fine.
Everything that we do in life to grow us is a business, and that business requires funding. And this today may be a small studio in a small show right now, but to be honest, I see, and I've said this fucking at least 4 years ago, and I've seen this on your face, in your eyes, that you've got the motive, you've got the drive to go forward. And eventually, maybe not this show, maybe through some other avenue, you will reach what you're looking for. But for people that want to be recognized, to be known, I think this is a good platform to invest in. I will start it. Okay, maybe a small scale. I will be a sponsor today. And I'll invite everyone as an entrepreneur to take this opportunity and grow your business. The good thing about it, you claim it all on tax. It's marketing. It is marketing. Whatever you pay for this show will come back to you through tax. So fucking take it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I've got no filters. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say
no
straightforward.
need to apologize, mate.
Any businesses out there, for me, Whether I spend $1 or 1,000 or two, whatever I spend, 10, it's gonna come back. It's my business requires marketing, and this is a platform for marketing. And the government allows me to spend so much money on marketing, and they'll pay me back. So why not fucking instead of it goes back to, some cunt's fucking Centrelink. Did I say that?
Oh, fuck.
Well,
You heard it here first, folks.
I did not say that. Sorry.
That's fine. No, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for the spiel. Thanks for sharing some time in your life with me, brother.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated.
Handshake. I'll shake your hand.
Absolutely. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Catch you later, Lids.
See you guys later. Thank you.